Hey everybody! Welcome to a new Speculate one-shot with a portion of the Strange Friends. I am Mike Underwood, one of the three co-hosts of Speculate, along with Brandon, who is here, and Greg, aka Arv, who hosts the channel. And tonight we are going to be playing Story Brewers RPG's Fight with Spirit, a sports drama RPG. But for now, I'm going to throw it over to Brandon, who's going to be facilitating for us tonight.
Hello, everyone. It is I, Brandon. We have been trying to make this game work for so long that a part of me forgets how doing Speculate works. But we are indeed here. I am very excited for us to actually play Fight with Spirit. If you recall, quite a while ago, I managed to facilitate a one shot of this with just Valerie, where we played a very funky digital one-on-one sport that may or may not still be the lore of this world that we're about to play, but I am still very excited to play the thing. Fight with Spirit is actually an incredible game, and I'm very excited to play it with more of the strange friends this time, and maybe next time we will get to play with everyone at some point. But for now, again, it is I, Brandon O'Brien. I am one of the co-hosts of Speculate alongside Mike and Greg, and a poet, writer, and game designer from Trinidad and Tobago. But yes, I am ready for us to talk about some things. So let's do some world building, I guess, shall we? Um, so we can get into character creation and figure out some more about what game we're about to play. Um, so let me see the thing. I think we've already discussed what team you will in fact be playing. If I recall correctly, we have agreed that our team is the Newcastle Neons.
Yeah, I looking at the teams and remembering what y'all played, I was pitching the Neons and the Demons for basically the challenges that the team has seemed like something that would be fun for us to play.
Yeah, and then I
Mm-hmm.
argued that it seemed like the challenges for the neons are sort of diametrically opposite of the kinds of challenges that we were playing around with last time in terms of like lacking technology, having no funding, that sort of thing. Whereas this is an overfunded team where they're threatening to pull the funding if they don't stop losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. We can play more with that relationship with funding in the story as well. So we'll see how that emerges in play. Um so with that in mind, we're also supposed to do some character stuff. Now that there are more of us than just two, it's actually recommended by the game that we play a team game and that all of us are playing that one team. So all of us will make characters from the Neons. But I, as the facilitator, am the person who's destined to ruin things for you. So I also get to make um, rival characters as well, which is a lot of work. I will now have to be nice and be mean to you in equal measure. A thing that I've never done to you before as a GM, of course. Um, so I'm very excited for us to get into that. So let's talk about some character creation stuff.
Okay. I remember almost none of it from when the two of you played, so I will have to I'll have to go from the beginning.
Let's do it. I have a bad feeling Brandon has frozen, and so I will start because I actually did start filling out my character sheet a little bit. And so now that we've chosen the team, some of the stuff that we need to pick within the team, we need to decide the
So I,
team. Oh, there you are. Go ahead, Brandon.
oh no, if you were going to say a thing, please continue.
Just you had frozen, so we're
Oh no, god
yeah,
damn
it's
it.
okay. I know, I know. But I was saying that we need to decide our coach, our practice area, and then our team relationships with the different teams. And so the default coach for the Neons is a coach that's been here for 10 years now under new pressure.
Aha. Hmm.
That feels consistent with the team problem, so I don't feel strongly compelled to change that.
Yeah, I like this a lot. It definitely does have a certain kind of flavor. Like I imagine, like one of those like prep schools where everything has been going very very well for years,
Mhm.
and then one year suddenly everyone's like, this year matters. We must make that. But like, we've never lost a game, principal. Why are
Mhm.
you worried about losing now?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
whereas
like
now this team, it's been a while that we started losing and now we're on kind of the downside.
yeah, because
Hmm.
like I think you could have like dynasty, cool. So the person has been here for 10 years, one or two building years, three or four like rise and triumph years, maybe then a few more years of dominance, but then like sometime not too long ago they went from dominance to placing really well to like getting knocked out of the tournament early, like maybe that as our arc for the team.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
dig this a lot.
we keep just hacking it up in the last round, and then next thing we know, we're out. And now what?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which I guess also ends up qualifying something about your individual characters as well, because it's most likely that uh you're either very, very new, that this is your first time on the team, or that you've played a while already and seen some of these things emerge beforehand. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because like any of us that are, sophomores or older and have been with the team, kind of gone through a whole season of disappointment.
Mhm.
And I think, especially anybody that's a senior, right? It's like this is your last chance with this team to make a good impression.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other question then we have to answer is what is our practice area like? And I don't feel like it's going to be teaming with film crews actually. That doesn't strike me as the thing that we want. So the other options, splashed with street art and RGB lights, home to endless accelerated talent intensives, or heavily sponsored, packed with free branded gear and an inexplicable photo booth.
um So I guess this gets to another thing that is probably valuable to qualify for the world building. Is this a high school team or a university team?
That's a good question. What do you think, Mike?
Because some of these things work naturally for, like, even if they do seem out of place for a university team, it's the kind of out of place that you'd imagine would be foisted upon people who are about to be adults, but in
Right.
a high school setting would be almost violating.
Yeah. So, like, because we had talked about maybe doing another cool esport
Mhm,
with this group.
Hmm.
And so I'm game to have that be college
mhm.
because also like the funding world in esports in our world is totally wild and
Mhm.
incomprehensible.
Hmm. Real world
Absolutely.
esports has in fact gotten it wrong quite a few times, so this looks like a way that it would have gotten wrong. I just wanted to make sure that we're like, I am okay with us getting it wrong in high school as well, so long as that's what we're going for. So if we're not, that's fine.
Yeah. I feel like I am down for either of the alternate options. I don't feel like we should be at the center of a documentary right now. I think that the heavily sponsored one is a particular flavor. I'm more inclined to go with the street art version. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think that works because it still presents a sense of like, oh, this is cool and it's a modern team and it, the youth. But I'm curious what we would want endless accelerated talent intensives to mean.
Yeah, that feels to me like they're constantly trying to find new talent. And so I would assume that would mean that we have a lot of like youth initiatives, and so they're basically trying to scout by doing like summer camps, right? Where
Okay.
it's like, if they're constantly running camps, that is a very easy means of scouting for new talent and
Hmm.
recruiting to the college team, basically.
Right. And
Yeah,
like,
because I was. No, continue.
are these camps things that people have to pay to be in? Right? Because then we have a funding. The organization has a funding model. It's just not winning.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
feel like it could be a combo, right? Like having that it's something that you pay for because, this coach is a really good coach and has a great reputation, and yada yada. But also there's maybe at least like one or two scholarship slots because of course they do acknowledge that you can be a really good player and not have money, obviously.
Right.
So you've got like the legacies, you've got the people with money, you've got the scholarship kids. And
Right.
that's not us. Again, that's like just something that is flavor for this particular team and location and university, but it feels like a reasonable flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like just as it is in the real world, in order to have the freedom as a space to like bling out your practice space, you kind of have to be assured of certain things and either being one of the best teams or one of the best practice spaces
Mhm.
of other universities of your kind of reinforces that idea that people are paying for the opportunity either to be trained well enough to be comparable to your team or to train well
Mhm.
enough that they can be scouted that they can play. So it's not.
Mhm.
So there are summer camps, yes, but there's summer camps with the intensity of NFL combines.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So like, if your child gets injured, I guess that's it for them. But you already paid us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they will still get access to, the the camp mixers and the
Yeah,
one-on-ones and
of
Hmm.
something,
course.
right? Like we accidentally gave ourselves a way to make fun of capitalism again.
Yeah, I like this a lot. A way to make
Accidentally.
fun. A way to make fun of capitalism and a way to make fun of how broken the university system is if you aren't already very academically capable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So do we do team relationships next?
I think that
Yes.
is a good one. Yeah. And so the Ash Point Arrows is the reigning powerhouse.
Hmm. So the choices that you have for your relationships are small fries. You talk down to this team, but secretly you look up to them. You wish you had their teamwork and close bonds.
Hmm. That
Former
feels
teammate.
unlikely for the reigning powerhouse. Yeah.
Former teammates. Many of you played with each other in out of school teams and you know each other's styles well. Old friendships and grudges still simmer. Local
That.
kids. You live near each other and many of you played on the same junior teams. You have community ties that go beyond the sport. Out for revenge, you lost last year's championship to this team and want a rematch. Practice partners, you've played this team so many times and know them inside out. Will it be different when it's the real thing? Or target threats. You consider each other to be the only real threats in the competition. They've earned your grudging respect.
Okay.
So before we do other teams, in fact, I think you should pick the one that qualifies the demons first,
Okay.
since that's who we're going to be playing in this match.
Okay.
But I have no problem hearing what the others are because maybe that will give us some flavor for the rest of the world as well.
Yeah. So I could be good with former teammates because they could be a mirror to us, right? They could be on the other side of falling apart.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
I think that works well. The other options that I would have said similarly would be either out for revenge or out for revenge practice partners or target threats. But I do like the idea that they are, like Mike said, the mirror to us. And so having them be former teammates, and it's like we went to this school thinking that we were going to be the reigning powerhouse, and then whoops, we hit it just like at the wrong time, basically,
Yeah.
which is totally a thing that happens to sports teams, right? you go to the university, you get recruited, you go there because they have, this amazing winning streak, and you just happen to be the first year the winning streak is broken, and then
Yeah.
it never recovers.
In high school, I did academic decathlon, and without knowing, I joined the year after the dynasty national champion winning coach had retired from doing
Oh no.
academic decathlon. And so the
Oh.
coach for the 2 years that I was in academic decathlon was one of her former students who had like stepped in to be the coach because there was no successor set up. And so like very different because it was academic decathlon, not like physical sports, but I can relate a little bit to that sense of like expectation and the weirdness of schedules and like order of birth, right? It's like nobody chooses to be born when they are, and then sometimes your life just aggressively doesn't line up with fate.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
My college, when I started attending, had just had a run of really great football, and then they decided to shift to academics. And then the football was not so great for a little while. Ruh-roh.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
So if we have demons are the former teammates, do we want to leave out for revenge with the arrows?
I think, yeah, I think Out for Revenge is good. I would say otherwise, target threats maybe would be the other one. Target threats is you both consider each other to be the only real threat in the competition. They've earned your grudging respect. Um, so
Because
yeah,
we're not playing the finals, so it's still good to establish that maybe there are some other teams that you're really, really invested in.
Right.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like small fries does work for the rising newcomers. Alternately, maybe local kids would be the other option. But I think that probably small fries makes more sense to me. Um, just
Yeah,
because, yeah. Anyway.
because we wish that we had their teamwork and close bond, and the reason that we haven't won is because something about the like team chemistry hasn't come together, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's some kind of a cohesion issue, whatever it may be.
So I think that that gives at least those two teams really clear mirroring to our
Mhm.
team in different ways.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's like this game is designed well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over here because Brandon is doing stuff with the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
So do we want to be over here on the deck, or are we gonna keep doing character stuff?
We can. We are still doing character stuff, so we can still do character stuff. But the
Okay,
thing that I'm doing
so
is not actually
yeah. We can then switch
in
to our actual
consistency.
character stuff if we go to the characters tab, because I
Yep.
think that was it for the team. Um, so yeah. We are both in the Newcastle Neons. We have established that. This is not really a game with positions, I think, unless we feel like inventing positions like support or tank or something. Runner and interference. I don't know. I feel
Right.
like, yeah, since this is an esport and we have established previously that it bears some similarities to kind of like an Overwatchy sort of game, but not violent as much as um, just like, what if football were Overwatch kind of?
Yeah,
Uh,
like no guns maybe, but
no, no
still like,
guns.
you know, we
Yeah.
might there might be tank and tank and striker or and support or something.
Yeah. Where it's just more like who is running interference and what kind of level are we playing? Because yeah, we also established there's kind of like capture the flag style levels or just payload delivery style levels. And
Right.
so yeah, there are a variety of potential strategies available to us here. But I think that we can leave position blank and be okay with that. But school year and age. So we're in college, but we still have to establish like how in college are we?
Right.
because I'd initially thought it would have been, well, or rather, the thought that I had is, depending on the circumstances through which we've described the rest of the
Hmm.
school, it would be interesting either to play freshmen, people who
Hmm.
are students who are very good, were very good in high school,
Hmm.
joined to play the game, have no idea what the relationships are
Hmm.
as a university, or have developed that relationship
Right.
uh, between students on the high school level, or um, sophomores who have been invested in the university level of the game for quite some time and therefore are developing those relationships on the university level.
Right.
Like, university rivalries don't care about what high school you went to, but when you're a freshman, all your relationships are with high school students.
Right.
So, yeah. Or, well, with people who were in high school and you were in high school. I want to word that very surely. Okay, cool. But yeah, so which of those things strikes you as more interesting in that regard?
I I think it makes sense for at least one of us to be sophomore or more established to
Hmm.
have some of that like weight of disappointment. If anybody wants to play that.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I would like to take that one actually because the character that thinking I'm going to lean into is a very kind of like eldest child family role model type of character.
Okay.
And so yeah, like sophomore or junior, I think for my character. And then Mike, you could take either freshman or sophomore,
Hmm.
whichever does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm starting to look through the traits to see which ones seem fun.
Sure. There's so many fun traits. And do note, so here's a game thing that you can note. There are two different kinds of traits that you can choose. There are orange traits and there are pink traits. And depending on what kinds of traits you choose, you're going to have like different card stuff that you can or can't do later.
Hmm.
Or it gives you bonuses, or I forget the exact mechanism of it. But so this time, I think last time I had two orange traits, but this time I have split. I've got one orange and one pink. I don't know if there's a good or bad strategy one way or the other there, but they are separated into those different kinds of traits.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, because traits come with them um, questions that you will ask that
Yeah.
are related to your backstory and your connections, etc. That you only ask after we have already formed. We only ask and answer after we formed relationships, so we know what those things will look like in context of the relationships we're already interested in.
Yeah, I found it on the sheet. So traits with orange questions create relationships with other major characters, while traits with pink questions create relationships with connections. So that is the distinction between the two. That almost makes me only want to have orange ones actually, because then it's just me and Mike playing off of each other, as opposed to digging into our connections. But
Mhm.
that said, the connections can be fun because the way that we had played it last time, the connections were from the rival teams, and so that can also be really interesting to mess around with. Yeah, I'm gonna leave mine alone. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, you can also have you can also form relationships with major characters from opposing teams, but because we were playing one on one,
Hmm.
there was only the one person that you could form that relationship with. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so then the relationship section, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna say I have a relationship with Mike's character. Um, I'm gonna say that I have I don't know, Mike, what do you want to do? I'm gonna let you focus on that too, but I'm gonna think about like what other stuff do we have? Um, but I'm going to say, yeah, if you don't have ideas for our connections, Brandon, in terms of like rivals, then we could start making those up too. Yay! I will say, so as Mike is doing that, the two traits that I have chosen big family, big obligations. So, big family, big obligations is teach your siblings something special through your playing or outside of it. You've got a gaggle of younger siblings. For one reason or another, it's your job to care for them. You love them to pieces, but you've had to grow up faster with responsibilities beyond your years. Who babysits your siblings from time to time? What are your family dinners like? When do your siblings most need your help? So that is my orange trait. And then for my pink one, I've chosen ready or not. Seize the dream you've been working towards, or acknowledge you're not ready. The future you're aiming for is finally within your grasp, but you know it's dangerous, and the unready are eaten up. You don't want to be one of the many chewed up and spat out. Which rival is already taking this plunge? And so, if we are playing against the demons, I feel like there has to be someone from the demons team potentially who is, say, ready to go pro and just got signed and is just waiting for like the ink to dry on the contract before they dip out of school, right? Because that is something that can happen in terms of sports, certainly, where you'll have someone who is going to the university, playing at the college level, and then basically gets like sucked out so that they can go play pro. It tends to be more rare, I think, because it's hard to find someone at a college level who's playing at a pro level, but it does occur. So I feel like that is a useful thing. And my rival can also be even older than I am. Um, and so like there's that sense of if I manage to do it, then I can support my family and everything will be very cool. But then I won't graduate from college, and that's also scary.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
So here's my pitch. I'm thinking of doing our new captain as my
Mhm.
trait that says heal divisions within the team or pull rank and put your foot down. I think my character got scouted from another team
Okay.
and transferred to this university as a
Okay.
junior. And so they weren't involved in like the last year's disappointment,
Mhm.
but bringing in a transfer as the team captain could cause additional problems within the
Okay.
team, right? Because then there's somebody else who was probably expecting to get to be team captain. And then I took rival start, learn to treat your childhood rival as an enemy or find a way to reconcile. So I don't know if that's a rival on this team or on one of the other teams. How does that fit with what y'all are thinking?
Feel like having the rival be on the other team makes slightly more sense to me because it
Sure.
depends on like how big we want this team to be. I think that the team last time was about 4 people, maybe five. I want to say 4 people. Um, who's three? Now I'm like, so it doesn't have to be a huge team, although it can be, right? Like we can have as many people as we need to. So, it can go either way.
So I mean, I like all of these things. I am.
I went ahead and bumped myself up to junior so that we're like the same age because I feel like that's a good tension
Yeah.
point also.
Yep. So I'm just going to scroll over so we can see Brandon's character for when they come back. So yeah, we could figure out what the Sam Melly relationship is.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like so I think that she is definitely very devoted to the team in the sense that she sees this as a meal ticket and
Sure.
she is like aware that she needs to do the thing, but she is being pulled in the other direction by her family. I think that her parents have very like demanding jobs, and so they are both sort of absentee parents, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
They like one of them travels a lot and the other works late hours, and it's basically just like she has default become the sort of parent to her siblings, but having to juggle the parenting role and all the practice she needs to get in is really challenging. And I think that that is a good kind of conflict point where
Yeah.
you're like, listen, you need to decide which of these things is more important, your family or your career, basically. It's like give it your all or get out.
Yeah, because like one way we could play the like play a relationship is like, oh, okay, is does Sam reach out to Melly as like, oh, okay, here is somebody who is clearly like invested in relationships and has a connection with more of the people on the team. I want to kind of get Melly on my side as
Mhm.
basically like the XO or the
Mhm.
bosun. Be like, okay, Melly is the one who has the connections to everybody on the team, and
Mhm.
if they trust Melly and Melly trusts me, we can make this work.
I think that works, yeah. Because I feel like what has probably happened by default is that she has to drag her siblings along to practices depending on what time they're being held.
Sure.
Um, and so if she shows up with, like three siblings of varying ages and then parks them there, I think that she's the person that shows up with like the bag of snacks and,
Right.
she's got the first aid kit on hand. She's got the mom purse.
Yeah. So I might pitch if I can get Melly's trust, I'll have the team.
Okay, sounds good. Um, and so then I feel like then I would describe my relationship with Sam as um like I I want to um pull my own weight and deserve trust. Because I think that she is concerned about like, oh no, I have too many things that are going on. So, all
Right.
right.
Yeah. I realize I framed the relationship uh, like a bond from a Forge in the Dark
Yeah,
game, and I'm
yeah.
not sure if
It
that's
works though. It
what. Okay.
works.
Cool. Because like I like relationship prompts that are really action oriented
Mhm.
or have like a strong emotional tie because I think it's easiest to bounce off of them in like
There
a one
there
shot.
may be there may be actually a specific way to do this because it does talk about like relationship questions and I'm not
Hmm.
seeing
Okay.
yeah, hold on. I gotta try to find that in the sheet here. Um boop, boop, where is the thing? Relationships. That's on page 19. Here we go. Um
So the questions that are tied to your traits, you don't actually answer until you have formed your relationships.
okay.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, so is the idea to pick which questions from those traits apply to your
mhm.
relationship people? Aha, duh. Okay. Um, in that case,
That way, you already have characters that you care about, and then you get to figure out ways that you care about them.
okay, it might be the connections then that we have to put together, um, as opposed to, okay.
Yeah, because we would have a relationship with every other person on the team, but only some of them are like the trait oriented ones.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, the traits don't match with the relationships. Like we don't have you since you're the new captain, it would potentially be like, who have you taken under your wing? It's me. Um, how would we describe that on the character sheet though? Hold on. Uh,
Um,
yeah, I feel like they're supposed to be like cross-pollinating here, so we have to. Oh, we gotta redo. Um, hmm.
yeah, like
I think I'm gonna switch ready or not then for something else that is gonna make more sense. Hold on. Um, hmm. No, that's not it. Placed too soon. Maybe I was the captain before.
Yeah,
And yeah,
or you were meant to be the captain. Like everybody on the team expected you were going to be the captain.
yeah. But I'm not a great captain. Like maybe that's not. Let's see, what other options do we have here? Um, Fading Joy. I think I did that one last time. Um, In Their Shadow. That's a sibling one. Unless we're siblings, I don't think that's gonna work. Uh, that's something with my parents. I would like to. I don't think Thwarted Ambition works either. Scholarship Crunch. That's interesting. But I think we're past that point in um oh, that one's messed up too. We're just going through the list now and there's so many different options. And they're all really good. Make a high stakes bet with your work friend.
Huh.
I know, right? It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Um,
I mean, you could be a high schooler with a with an after school job, I guess.
it's possible that I idolize your character. Um,
And are the pink relationships always meant to be NPCs?
Yes.
Okay.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, in that case, well, but then it doesn't make sense then for the orange one because it's like if the orange one is meant to be PCs, you would have to be my sibling. So that doesn't seem like it
Well,
makes
not
sense.
necessarily,
Not
because like
Yeah,
necessarily.
okay.
yeah, because like um, maybe some of the babysitting is not about being able to get to practice. Maybe it's
Hmm.
about like doing errands for the family or getting to do your homework or something like that.
Yeah, it's the question there is who babysits your siblings from time to time, which would seem to be then it would be you, which
Yeah.
is but yeah, it's like, do you? I guess if you know what, that does make sense because siblings from time to time because of the fact that I bring them to practice. And
Yeah.
so sometimes it's like while I'm, logged in and you're not, you're there just literally dealing with my siblings. Okay, so then in that case, I think I can um wait, what was my other one? I lost it. No. Sometimes the trait thing gets like mixed up and weird looking.
Yeah. And so I basically just edited my relationship prompt to be the same thing,
Mhm.
but to have it say I've taken Melly under my wing. She's the heart of this team, and if I can win her trust, I'll have the teams.
Okay.
And yeah, because then I can be like an only child,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
so like I don't have as many out of game like out of off team responsibilities in the way that Melly does.
Right.
In a way, but that doesn't undermine the fact that I have the responsibilities as the team captain. So
Okay. So then the other question then is which rival is already taking this plunge? And so I can just invent somebody who is that. Um hmm, Fun times. Let's see. What's a good character name? How about um,
While this is happening, I did want to
yes.
ask a question about one of the traits that I picked. So for my rival character, I picked a trait called Fading Joy. Reconnect with the joy of playing or decide your fun is not important. Fourth relationship question is, who did you used to have the most fun with? And I imagine that would have to be one of you, and I wanted you to be able to qualify that on your own.
Um,
I imagine this can be who did I enjoy playing the game with more often, but it doesn't have to be about the game either. It could be we do something else that actually gives me joy, and I have now
Right.
lost out on that thing.
yeah.
Yeah, in terms of being at the school, it might make sense if it were Melly, unless this connection between Ryan and Sam represents something that's less about the team.
Hmm. I mean, to be sure, I am. This is the rival that I'm qualifying here, so um, that relationship wouldn't be tied to the same team in the first place. So,
So
um,
you're playing somebody from another team as your main
um,
character?
I I think I can, if I'm not mistaken, I am expected to do one or both, and I'm leaning towards playing a rival character. So because we're supposed to have one, um,
Okay. Yeah, I
let me
wasn't
make sure of that in the rules.
I wasn't sure whether we have three kind of PCs on the same team, and then we each play an NPC rival on one of the several other teams. Given the
Yeah, I
GM
feel
list
like
thing.
yeah, I feel like there have to be if it's a 2-on-2 sort of situation, then yeah, there needs to be like um there have to be two different Dockside Demons characters, right? Like
Aha, right, yes. Now I remember.
mm,
So, um, in the rules for facilitating while playing a major character, um, it does specify the conditions under which you can choose to play a rival or a major character on the same team. Um, but there are additional steps to playing a major character on the same team because it means then everybody is on the hook to
yeah.
play rivals, which I wanted to avoid specifically. I want all of that burden to be mine.
Okay,
Um,
got it.
yeah, so whenever rival match games show up, that's just for me to figure out.
Okay,
Or
so
rather, whenever rivals play into a match game, so no one
right.
else has to figure out how to RP those things.
So does that mean that when we detail that we'll just work with you to detail the rivals for Melly and Sam, and that both slash all of those you will play?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay,
So that way, connections we have more freedom to
right.
um delegate.
Okay, got it.
hmm
So
hmm
that would mean that we're going to make a childhood best friend who's a rival for Sam, and then a connection rival character for Melly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm now just kind of like reworking this because I'm wondering if like I'm trying to figure out just the various possible tensions here because I was like, oh, maybe like going pro, but then I'm like, the tension there would potentially be, is she abandoning her family? Is she able to do this? And I don't know if that's quite where I want to go, but um, I'm just poking now at the other options. Um, it definitely could be someone she idolized, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot
To be
going on here.
sure, Ryan can be one of those characters for you all. It's just I will be playing that character. That's all that means.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
All right. So I see a Sam down here in the connections section. I don't know if that was a previous Sam or if characters need to get listed multiple
Oh,
times.
I had started doing that because yeah, I don't know. The connection seems to be like is that supposed to be our people? No, that's our relationships. So yeah, I don't know. It's all
Yeah,
very
mechanically, connections refers to um non well relationships that will be played outside of match games by us of
Mm,
characters who are essentially NPCs. But I also think that the sheet is just very useful. That
mm,
part of the sheet is very useful for keeping larger blocks of information for the relationships that you're forging anyway, so it doesn't bother me.
okay.
Okay.
Do what is necessary for you to know how many characters are in this game because it's about to be plenty.
Okay. Do we want to do 2-on-2 for the sport, or is it larger teams on each side, and then some of the team members are all going to be kind of non-spotlight characters? They're neither PCs nor major connections.
Right. So, when we had previously discussed the game that we were playing, I imagined that this esport, well, the game that you're playing in a larger, more flexible esports league where those games are unique and varied and complex, is something along the lines of um, what if captaincy flag was also flag football?
Okay.
Which would argue that while the location that the game is being played on is still very complex and layered in the way that a first person shooter capture the flag stage would be, um, teams would be reasonably large enough that multiple people could interact with the field in complicated ways at the same time.
Sure.
So I was thinking something like a 4v4 or 5v5 game,
Cool.
of which, for match game purposes, we would be observing the interactions that you have with individual rivals as they emerge in the conflict,
Right.
which may or may not be Ryan, because Ryan will probably be, and well, I did dig a lot, um, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Because sometimes the match game just qualifies that the rival team is uh, active in this moment, not necessarily your rival.
Okay. So we have to detail. So if Ryan is one of these two people's rivals, then we'll need one more rival character
Mhm.
at least, right? So
Yeah.
should Ryan be um, the former childhood friend of Sam, or the rival that's already taking the plunge, connecting to Melly in the Ready or Not trait?
Hmm.
So Ready or Not says, seize the dream you've been working towards or acknowledge that you're not ready. The future you're aiming for is finally within your grasp, but you know it's dangerous and the unready are eaten up. You don't want to be one of the many chewed up and spat out.
Yeah, what I did is I invented, since if we're gonna have 2-on-2, so that there's like an extra character, I've invented someone named Hannah, and so Hannah can be the one who is basically like about to go pro. Um, and so what that would look like if I was taking over this major character name over here, um, and I think that we do she/they pronouns for Hannah. Um, the traits then would probably be something like maybe final year and I don't know, maybe like special treatment. No, that doesn't make sense. Um, I feel like there was something that was maybe like it's like breathing or something like that. Um, those are both orange though, so maybe we need to swap to.
I mean, because this rival is
Mhm.
essentially on the NPC layer,
Yeah.
Right.
those relationships don't count.
Okay.
Or rather, we can qualify those relationships in ways that matter for play, because interacting with those traits will not be a thing
Right.
that character will do in play. The
Yeah.
only rival that has traits or has tokens is Ryan,
Mhm.
and those things are less anyway. So we are fine to qualify relationship things for Hannah without having to worry about what those do trait wise.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. I'll leave that alone then. Okay.
So
Letting go of that.
does that mean we should put Hannah down in the connections section?
Yeah, I'm struggling. Like, what is the relationships versus connections? I feel like I've already lost the plot
Well,
there.
Hannah is a rival relationship, not a connection
So,
mechanically.
okay, so yeah,
Um,
connections are supporting characters, not PCs. Okay, got it.
but again, if there's information that you want to keep about that relationship, you can put it anywhere in the sheet that will help you see it.
Got it. Oh. And then Sam is also a rival.
Are we having two Sams?
No, wait. Do
'Cause
we not? Oh, Ryan,
Sam is,
Ryan. Oh my
yes.
God. I'm sorry. Oh.
That's me.
Okay. So that would theoretically put Ryan as Sam's childhood friend for the rival start trait. Your childhood best friend introduced you to the sport. You practiced together every day until you had a bitter falling out. Now you face each other again as enemies. Does that sound cool to you?
It does, because now it qualifies fading joy in a way that I actually appreciate. It
Oh,
means that
sure.
I enjoyed the game when we were playing non-competitively, but now the thing that I hate about the game is I don't get to bond with people anymore. Everybody sees me as an enemy to be defeated. I don't get to play for fun. This is work now. So I'm kind of like, like that point. I'm sure when I say this to you all in particular as writers, you know what I mean. You know that point where writing still gives you joy, but there's a part of that joy that has been diminished by the fact that you have a deadline, or you need to finish this work
Right.
in order to eat to get paid, and you still like the thing, but you kind of wish that it wasn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the game has become for Ryan Lamming now.
Got it. And
I am so sorry to have to drop that analogy on you in particular, but still.
what are Ryan's pronouns?
He or they.
Okay. Cool. Do we want both of these rivals to be on the same team?
I think that works best. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, because honestly, I'm fine if we do character creation and then we do a set of cool scenes with just this overall match with the demons.
Yeah.
Because that gives us, I feel like it'll give us a decently rounded, contained bit of story. And if we get to play this again, we can add in other strange friends with new PCs who were on the team but were not spotlit in this match. So that that would be easier if that's something we decide we want to come back to.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon, I filled in a small note about Ryan and Sam's relationship. Please feel free to rewrite that at your leisure if you would like to, since you are driving that character. This is the section for Ryan as a connection in the same column with Sam.
No, that works for me. I like that a lot.
Okay. Do we need to do anything else with Hannah?
No, not really. As far as I recall, that should be fine.
Okay.
Let me make sure. Okay, cool. So, We've assigned other connections, etc. Um, because there aren't right. Or the natures of these relationships should be complicated enough, so we don't really need to add much more characters for these things.
Hmm?
So the only other thing that needs to happen is the team now needs a team special.
Oh, yeah.
So for the neons, team special now trending. The neons are always trending on social media. What rumors are currently hot? Each player contributes one, pick from below or make your own. These will change throughout your story. Because we're playing a one shot, they probably wouldn't show up as regularly as they would if we were playing an entire campaign in the way that the game is
Right.
designed to do. But having answers to these questions is still very useful for world building. So, starting with Mike, what rumor is spreading about the neons on social media?
Um, so I think it would be cool in a terrible way if there's a rumor that says, even if the Neons lose, they won't care. They're all flying to New York for a sponsors celebration party,
And it's not true. And we wish it were true,
right?
but it's not true. And we can't seem to, like, the more we deny it, the more people absolutely believe it must be real.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that is a great double bind bad rumor.
Yeah. Valerie,
Yes.
what rumor is currently hot?
So if we're gonna have another one, I think that let's go with one of the neons is threatening to defect, not to the sharks, but to the arrows.
That would be kind of spicy.
Oh wait, you know what? Maybe it's to the demons because that's our rival. Um,
I
no, you know what?
feel
Let's
like,
go with the arrows. That sort of makes more sense, I think, because they're the
yeah,
reigning powerhouse. So
yeah. I also feel like a rumor like that would immediately die in the face of this game, because people would be like, "But we're playing the demons right now, and no one has changed." So I think that definitely still works.
okay.
So let's change that to the arrows. Um,
Intense.
how do
So,
I?
um, so I just clicked, or I double clicked and then clicked until I could do edit,
Mm-hmm.
if that's working for
Uh,
you.
oh no, yeah, that's working. I just wanted to change this hashtag.
Oh, haha. um,
Here, I got it. Oh, it says no, it says arrows.
Ah,
Yeah, it's me.
because it's the arrows.
is it like broken arrow?
Uh-huh.
I changed the
Trader
hashtag
overhead?
to traitor overhead.
I like it.
Trader overhead.
Um, now I'm realizing that I want the campaign of this that is like far future mech sports.
Yeah,
Ooh.
right. Like God, what's the name of the show? Um,
I
I
mean,
think it was Heavy Gear.
it could be this. We could just do that right now.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Are
We
we
have not committed. We
pivot
absolutely could just
pivot to mechs?
Pivot to Mex. Pivot to Mex.
So in Friends at the Table, in their Divine Cycle, they have a character who is a mech sports superstar. Um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
whose name is Memphis Longhand, who is of the type of sports star who always refers to himself in the third person. Great character.
Oh Lord, this sounds. I need to consume more Friends at the Table, but there's so much.
There is a
There's so
lot.
much media on the earth.
It it's taken me a while to really get into their stuff because they bite off a lot in a cool way. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes more brain work to listen to that show than some things because they're trying to do a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
we have rumors. What rumor did you pick, Brandon?
I picked their super secret technique that is years in the making is about to be revealed on court. Hashtag
No.
secret shine. Again, this may never happen. We may learn you have no special secret techniques whatsoever. And
The secret
everything that
is there is no secret.
yeah, you've been playing the exact same way for 10 years, and everyone thinks that it's new and novel, and it's not.
The secret technique is communication?
So with that, we have done all of the character creation stuff that needs to be done as far as I have observed. And now the only things to make sure that you are aware of are the fact that you have tokens that you can use. Let me make sure that I describe all of those tokens for you.
So here's my pitch on how it's mechs. It can be virtually mechs, and it's still at present day, or it's space future, and so if we're in the mechs, we are exposed to more physical danger, but we get to do the good mech thing of like cockpit to cockpit clash and talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like we could do that even if it's virtual. I'm just
yeah,
I would
it's
I
just
would
local
say
chat. I don't know. My general inclination is to go toward mechs and superheroes, so I don't want to let this bias everyone else.
Here's my thing. I am fond of the virtual realm in which we're playing in already comes with the assumption that because we're playing a sport and the sport isn't Mutant League, you're not gonna die in game.
Right.
I don't think story brewers have rules for that. So the only things that matter to me is that it is a fun and kinetic game. Even if we struggle to define what exactly is happening on screen, we can make up some of those justifications because we're qualifying the game ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And two, that it gives enough room in individual match games that you know what your character is doing or what you're struggling against in that space. So if we wanted to do Titanfall, I am fine with that.
Always do Titanfall.
So yeah, it's essentially so like I imagine it then as it's less hostile. Like it's less obviously a war game in that you don't have guns, but you might have other weapons. Most mech to mech conflict is either small arms like swords or something like that, or actual physical and actual close quarters engagement, and that you have to essentially call a how do I qualify this? So the only sport in which I can qualify the thing that I'm about to qualify is 2020 cricket. Where in the early days of the iteration of 2020 cricket, there was a thing that I think they used to call it a super play, and then it just kind of changed names throughout other brands' run of the game because the person who initially created 2020 cricket is now in jail. Where for one over in the inning, for the next 6 balls, all of the fielders on the field have to come closer to the game, in which not only incentivizes batsmen to try to score sixes, what you would call in baseball a home run, because no one's going to get far enough to attempt to catch the ball, but also incentivizes fielders to catch low balls as quickly as possible because they're guaranteed an out. So those 6 balls are always the most intense of the game because any dynamic change in the game can happen in a matter of seconds as a result of play. So you just have to be your best for those 6 balls immediately. So I like the idea of, in this version of the game, once you've essentially like once a certain number of moments in the game has passed, a certain player of a certain level, whether it's having gained enough points or based on how much contact they've been making with the other team without their mech, get to call a mech, and when they do that, everybody else gets to go, well, they have a mech, so I want my mech, and everybody just suddenly transitions to meching.
Oh, Reddit Bros. I'm picturing it now then as like we're all Zero Suit Samus until we're not. Like,
Yeah,
which that would be kind of fun.
right. And I think what would be it would be fun if one of the players is like,
Out of mech.
Oh, sorry.
go ahead. We lost you until out of mech.
Oh no. Oh my god.
So we got you know, some at some point a meter is filled and you can summon, and then everybody summons, and then we lost it.
Looks like it froze again. Oh no. I think that's cool. I think that is a fun mechanic, and if we can integrate that, I'm totally down.
Yeah, I think there would be some player who's like legendary for holding their mech in reserve and is
Yeah.
like good at being just a person, and then they bring their mech in to like as like a final push kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to make sure that that one thing that I said was not missed, because I guess my internet hates me. You can only score outside of your mech. Mech control is mech
Oh.
control is mostly for um interruption play. But if you want to actually like grab the flag and move with it, you cannot do that in your mech because it's too small.
Oh. That actually is fun because then it does give us a sense of positions, right? Where
Hmm.
there are going to be some people who naturally are perhaps better runners, effectively,
Right.
better at running, better at dodging. And then you have people who are going to be better at being interference, people who are going to be tanking and providing essentially protection for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that maybe then gives us positions,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
You know, do we have like, is that runner, tank, mech focused, and then like striker as like either another mech role or something?
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like then, yeah, I feel like three roles does make sense in terms of this. And I think like runner would definitely be one of them. Tank would be the other. And then um, I feel like the tank is essentially like maybe shield would be a good way to put it. So
Hmm.
it's like runner, shield, and offense, something like that, right? Where it's like you have the person who is running, the person who is attacking, and the person who is protecting. And like the protector sticks with the runner essentially to just try to like peel off and deflect as needed,
Right.
whereas the attacker is actively, going after the opposing team, because also the attacker has to be the one to go after the flag of the other team's runner, basically. And so, like, it could even be that shield and attacker are like switching positions, kind of thing.
Right.
That sometimes the shield is also an attacker, sometimes the attacker is also a shield, but runners tend to just be runners. That's kind of a specialized thing that they're typically better at.
Yeah, because if you can't interact with the flag in a mech,
Mhm.
offense and a runner would have to go together, right?
Yeah.
Offense gets the flag away from the runner, and then that team's runner picks up the flag.
Exactly, exactly. While the defender then is trying to keep the other team's attackers and defenders away from their people. So yeah, like it all kind of creates a good synergy. I think we have
Yeah.
already invented a sport. Yay.
Well,
Yeah,
and
like
go ahead.
no, because I was also gonna say I was thinking about the range of size of these mechs as well, because I actually don't want something to be Titanfall size, because those mechs are actually kind of huge and
Yeah.
probably kind of unwieldy for play of this kind. So I was thinking somewhere more on the like um is somewhere on the 14 to 16 foot height level. um, Primarily because based on the roles that you've already described, it means that if there are two runners, for instance, and the one style of play is to pass to your a team runner, so if they have a distance advantage over you, or if you're being pressured by a potential um, offense, um, so um, play continues to cycle in that way. It would also make sense on a level for two offensive players, one out of mech and therefore available to capture a potential lost opportunity, but one in mech, but a mech that is so small or so agile in its own operation that you could just eject out of it during play once you've actually performed your offense to actually capitalize on the lost flag and move, because you won't be able to move with it in the mech.
Yeah.
And
Depending on
therefore
the
essentially
function.
tagging your second player into the mech.
Depending on the way the mechs work, like functionally in the game. Again, if it's virtual, then the cool thing about the mechs is that they could essentially be like Magical Girl style. They just you can just pop them on and off
Yeah.
instantaneously. And I think
Yeah.
that is again, there can be like a meter that you have to fill the meter before you're allowed to do it, kind of deal. But being able to have that flexibility of like, okay, I'm the only one near the flag, and so even though I'm the shield, I have to drop my mech and grab the thing because the runner has been waylaid and something happened. Like having the opportunity for flexibility while also still having very clearly defined roles within the team.
Yep.
Yeah. I like all of this a lot. I kind of want this sport to exist just like the last one.
Okay. Cool. So I feel like going back to, do we want to talk about positions now or come back to it when we've got stuff going?
I think we can settle it now, and because I feel like I would say my character probably defaults to being the shield and or the attacker. I feel like both of those are fitting roles. Um and again, you can say the attacker could maybe have like an alternate name like the switch or something like that, because the idea being that they're one thing as needed and another thing as needed.
Right.
But I feel like the captain as the runner makes sense to me. I'm also open to you not doing that.
Yeah, I had been thinking of Sam as maybe being a tank type because
Okay.
that because then somebody else gets the glory, right? The tank is not the one that scores.
Mhm.
But if you're excited about playing that like pivot position,
Oh no, it's fine. I feel like either is totally fine. My character, just the reason I went with that is because it's like she is a very kind of parental figure character, and so that felt more like a tank. But that said, making her the runner is interesting. I feel like one of us has to be the runner. That's
sure.
just yeah, that's my thought there. And so I feel like maybe she's been like the attacker up to this point, and now part of the new strategy is to make her be the runner.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Like I'm open. I'm open.
Yeah, and a nice thing about the way that the neons are set up is we can go into the match with one idea and it's not working and we switch.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's cool.
Because then like, okay, we're going to call a flashback to this time when we did XYZ and now we're going to do something else because
Yeah.
it's about the drama.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe something will happen during opening credits that will
Yeah, I was
reveal
gonna
some
say.
stuff about play as well. But before we get into all of that, I should probably ask if everyone's okay with taking a minor break before we get into the action. A reminder to everyone on who is watching us live that a break for us is a break for you as well. So please do all of the things that is necessary to take care of your body while we are about to engage in some digital shenanigans in a game that at some point we need to name and brand.
Yeah.
But I am very excited for us to get into the rest of Fight with Spirit. Thank you so very much for joining us, and we will be back very, very soon.
Hello, we are back with more of Fight with Spirit, where we're going to do capture the flag with mechs, but it's in video games? Question mark?
A lot of things. There are some parts of the world building that we haven't actually made sticky yet, but all that matters is that nothing dangerous will happen to these children whatsoever. So yes, thank you for joining us for more Fight with Spirit, as the Newcastle Neons are about to enter their upcoming match. But first, we need to do opening credits. So opening credits are essentially a series of moment vignettes for all of the players that are on this team, so we could get a sense of what their world looks like and what they're up to just before the thing happens. So I wanted, in fact, to actually open with a version of Aruma that exists, but it is not the very strictest version of that rumor, which is the school that you attend, which we haven't named, so I'm gonna let you all name that school now. What is the name of the university?
How do we want to
Or
stay?
we could just kind of default to Newcastle University.
Do we want to stay contemporary?
Yeah, I think it's still present day, present time. It's just augmented reality has expanded to a point where we can do all of the external things that we're about to do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with Newcrest.
Yeah, I think Newcastle works, yeah.
Okay, cool. So Newcastle University has this ritual, and it's not the school's fault, it's not the administration's fault, it's not the team's fault, it's the students' fault. But Newcastle has this tendency in the sport that you play to only vacillate between one of two extremes. Either you get knocked out in the round of 16, and therefore none of this ever matters, or you get all the way to the finals, and all that matters is whether you win or lose. And sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose. You've been losing for quite some time now, so people have a lot of feelings about the fact that at least you made it to the finals. So the thing that manifested in Newcrest, like, university culture as a result, is a thing called the quarter crash, which is the day before the quarterfinals, to celebrate the fact that you got into the quarterfinals. Several of the extracurricular communities in Newcastle U will just throw a massive party on campus without anyone's foreknowledge. And it's usually like raucous and a mess and actually really unproductive for both the team and anyone's actual academic pursuits the next school day. But they're so dedicated to finally celebrating that at least you didn't get knocked out, so we're gonna have a party every time that you don't get knocked out. Tonight is the night of the quarter crash. Where are your characters when this happens? And I guess we'll start with Sam.
Sure. So I feel like it makes sense to have a mix of traditional college party trope elements, but then also maybe some like LAN party kind of thing, like involved. That like there might be non-team members playing the same game, saying the same sport, but just in like the normal ladder matches or private game modes, and just kind of as world building. I think where we find Sam is on the fringe of an activity that the team is doing and that Sam is ostensibly a part of, but is not in the community activity to the same degree that everybody else is. And it's not that they don't want to be a part of it, but they also understand that there's just more there's more connection between everybody else, and so they're kind of just trying to facilitate. So like maybe and this maybe steps on Melly's kind of niche a little bit, but I feel like in a situation like this, they might be kind of trying to do the facilitation thing, like, oh, are they reffing for the team playing like a just a scrimmage game or something like that? And I think Sam is tall, willowy, has like long black hair in a single braid, and takes he, she, or they pronouns. For this party, they have like a high collar jacket. That's probably like the team jacket, because that kind of helps us establish, okay, this is the Neons, this is their vibe, and they've got the braid over it, and the braid has ribbons in the team's like purple color, and then they have like kind of fairly intense like purple eyeshadow with like glitter sparkles because it's a big party. And they, we come in on them going, hey, we said no slappers, to the team who is like playing this LAN party tournament.
Mm-hmm. Is the team any good?
I think maybe the team is better when the stakes are low, because it's just fun. I don't know, what do y'all think?
Oh no, yeah, I like this. I like the idea that things are going well in part because everyone's actually having fun, because it makes the stakes for the actual game so much higher. So there is like a massive crowd gathering to watch this. Folks are like enwrapped in this moment. It's not so much to the point of showing off. I think people are just kind of. I think people aren't so much invested in seeing whether this is what it would look like when you actually get in your game. I think people are just excited to see you all be present in this sense, and that's what is kind of hyping everybody up in this moment. But also, everyone's kind of like nearing blackout drunk at this point, and most of the noise that is taking place in this event is just people just making noise because noise is expected at a party. Things are kind of falling apart in that sense. Melly, where are you?
Okay, so was this party at all planned in advance, or was it literally like sprung on everyone as
Oh
a
no, everything
surprise?
everything was planned in advance.
Okay.
It's just planned in advance in secret. Like sometime around 6:30 p.m. Dozens of college students emerged from their dorms or nearby supermarkets or their friends' mothers' homes with cars full of coolers, full of drinks, and like large decorations that they just kind of stapled to the wall with staple guns immediately, and so it would just all appear as if fully formed at 7 p.m.
So Melly's not there. Melly's at home taking care of her siblings because there was no advance warning of it. Melly couldn't get a babysitter. And like there's no family nearby for her to be like, hey, Uncle Tito, can you come over and watch the kids? So Melly is just kind of waiting at home and hoping that one of her parents will arrive, and they're not. And so she's just watching, and maybe she has logged in so that she can play the game remotely, while still being home. So she's like there but not there.
You know what? I want to do a thing
Okay.
very, very idly. So the way that matches are resolved in Fight with Spirit is from drawing from the match deck and typically meeting a certain number in a certain color based on um, the traits tied to a particular match game. So I'm essentially gonna make up a match game in this moment so as for us to qualify a thing for you right now. I would like you to uh draw two um draw two cards from the match deck, and if you gain um if you gain 5 points in connection, if
Okay.
playing those two cards gives you 5 points in connection, I
Uh,
will tell you whether a thing happens.
I did not draw any connection cards.
Oh no, sadness.
Yeah, I
Um,
will show you what I drew by putting it over here and then flipping it like so. So I got a 4 in focus and I got a 6 in focus.
hmm, sorrow. Uh, that sucks.
Alas.
So it is. Uh, it it it's 7 o'clock. Swiftly turns to 8 p.m. Swiftly turns to 8:30. Swiftly turns to 9 p.m. You get a text message from your mom saying that her and your father will still be out for quite some time. No other family member responds to any of your phone calls or text messages. One of your friends. What is your major?
Um, my major is math.
Mm-hmm.
That's a major, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you
I
can
like this
you can
even
be an
more.
accountant. It's steady work.
Yeah.
I like this even more because it means this friend of yours, one of your classmates, who you typically didn't imagine to be a party person, uh, has been sending you an Instagram reel every minute and a half of this party, and she has almost entirely changed personality. Like you are looking at this person, that this is not the person that you're actually in class with. um and everyone looks like they're having fun. Maybe, if you're being perfectly honest, a little bit too much fun. It does look like some people are being reckless in a way that you probably wouldn't enjoy.
Melly's like, it's fine. If I were there, I would just be cleaning up bottles and stuff. It's not fine. She's sad. She's sad that she's missing this.
I love I
And no, continue.
I love that both of our characters are outside of the fun in different ways at the beginning.
Hmm. And then both of you get a text message um from your coach. Coach Mathis has sent you both a text message. This is like 9 o'clock in the night, when both of you when reasonable people of your age and stature in university would already be asleep. Um, but you've both gotten a text message that says, PC at 6 a.m. before game. What this means is you will have a press conference before the game starts.
Great.
Uh, Sam, you notice several other people literally playing as this happens also get that text message. Um, I will let you qualify what their like reaction to that might be.
I think Sam looks at this, realizes that it means that we need to stop playing now so that people can go and sleep. Because press conference means not only being awake and functional, but being awake and in nice clothes early when most of the team is currently drunk. And so Sam kind of gives it a few seconds and says, "We got a press conference in the morning. That means we probably need to shut it down now."
The crowd of drunk students watching the game starts to boo.
Sam considers briefly throwing the coach under the bus for it, but realizes that the coach is more liked than she is, and that could also go really poorly. And so we'll instead. All right, we have like lots of brand sponsorships, right? So like Sam goes rummaging around in a bag and like basically throws out merch to the crowd while the players are like shutting things down.
Uh-huh. And it's like very expensive straight brim caps and like uh replica uniforms and six packs of a very expensive energy drink, etc.
Yeah.
Just piles of stuff.
Is there like a gunpla kit of one of the models of mechs?
Oh no, yeah, definitely. There are like as a kind of premium level um a piece of branded content, there are model kits that have partial zinc as like some of the materials that are necessary to make the thing. It's a lot. To actually buy one probably costs a great deal of money. But yeah, the audience is mildly placated, and everyone kind of walks away from the scene as we kind of fade away from this into um a press conference at your um home, like digital entry rig essentially, which is now being like positioned within the auditorium where you're about to play, as they've also arranged a table and some chairs for you and the rest of the team to speak to the press very quickly about this game. This is mostly unprecedented for university play in any other sport, but because this sport is very intense and you are very good at it, the media is kind of leaning more into treating you all like you are basketball or football players in that sense, for the additional publicity that it gets them for covering the sport in the first place. So the lights are dazzling. The room is like somewhat warmer than it should be, given that it's actually well ventilated, etc. But you imagine that some part of that is less about the amount of people in the room or whether the AC isn't working, and more about the the internal pressure of being in this moment, in this at this point in time. Um, they ask a series of questions about how you feel about your team's play since the last season, how you feel about some individual moments in your last season of play, and then a reporter turns to Melly and goes, "So, this quarterfinal game is against the Demons, which we know has been somewhere on the level of rivalry of this school, not as big as some of the other big players, but has several members that have very strong ties to some of your team members' early stages of play. I know that you in particular are close to one of the Demons players. I guess I wanted to get a sense of how you feel about your chances getting into this game, your headspace compared to those of your colleagues on the other side."
When you're on the field and you're running the flag and you're pulling up your mech, you can't think about who your friends used to be on the other team and who you used to run with, and you can be friends off the field and have good relationships, but once you get inside the game, you really gotta be on your best behavior and keep your eye on things and support your teammates and try to forget that they're your friends because otherwise, it can drag you down and it's better that you don't.
Another reporter almost suddenly, immediately picks up on that and directs another question to Sam. Uh, this is essentially a version of the same question, but I know in particular that you uh, earlier in your career had a career relationship with Ryan Lamming from the Demons, who now has a history in the game of playing kind of rough and tumble, making a lot of particularly brutal calls, sometimes uh, managing to just slip just a little bit short of a foul in some circumstances. I guess I'm kind of curious whether you have anything to say about that kind of play that Lamming tends to employ, and how safe that makes you feel in the game.
And so Sam is wearing like a black skater dress and then like a cream cropped jacket, um, and has like hair braided in that style where the braid is here and then goes down and all the other hair is pulled in, and looks like very put together and not at all hungover, which might be a
Mm-hmm.
contrast to some other members of the team. Um, and he says, Ryan and I had a lot of fun playing as kids. Competitive play is different than pickups and ladder matches and scrimmages, but I'm new to this team, and so my focus is on the Neons, how we play, and what we're here to do.
Okay. Um, the the journalist asks a couple more questions. The interview just kind of eventually dies down a little bit. Um, Before any of the journalists leave, you notice that some of the members of the demons are now kind of like idly filing into the room. Um, you notice that Hannah has come in like a jacket uh, over like the uniform vest, shorts, very expensive sneakers. Um, is walking past the table with a kind of determination, like the kind of you know how someone walks and looks ahead as if they're obviously trying to let someone know that they're ignoring them. That's the vibe that Hannah gives off as she walks up, past the table, um, towards what would be like dressing rooms and other kind of preparation rooms and the like. Some other people fall in. Ryan is not immediately available, but you see the coach, you see a couple of other players, some of like the juniors and like other like trainee students and stuff like that are coming up to some of the other team members and like being generally cordial, being actually nice and respectful to you all, and like wishing you all a good game. Um, the coach just kind of looks at your coach kind of disdainfully and just kind of walks back outside. And you'll have like a little bit of time before the game actually begins. Is there anything that you want to do character wise before that happens?
I think I want to do a Sam gives a pep talk speech for the team kind of scene, but I'm happy for it to be kind of in summary if we want to get to match play.
Yeah, either way is good. I am good with vignettes.
Yeah. Um, and so like we've already gotten past the like curse stage, right? The when the Neons are really screwing up, we've already been knocked out, and so we're past that. And so Sam says, I haven't been on the team as long as some other folks, but I've watched the tape. I've watched you all in play, and I've seen what you all can do when it comes to crunch. We're past the curse crap. So now it's just time to play the game the way that we like to play it. Some of us know some of the demons. I don't care as much about how they're playing as us playing our match, our strategies. Melee on the swing, the protected 2-1, and I'm hoping that we're going to get some opportunities to do some of the rotations. We already got past the curse stuff. Now we just have this match today. That's what's important, right? And make sure to drink a lot of Gatorade. I see some folks are flagging. We can do this. Neons on 3. And we'll cut there.
Okay. Nice. So with that, I guess we now move into match things.
Unless Melly has a scene.
I think Melly is just in a bad headspace because Melly has been fielding messages from one of her siblings' schools, and her parents are, as always, unreachable. And she is attempting to solve this problem remotely when she can't leave. And she's definitely, her attention is unfortunately very split by this.
Aha, noted. So I think we had qualified the last time that even though this is a virtual game, there is a kind of like a digital window that is available to witness whether spectators are watching the thing. So because no one will be actually physically at the auditorium to watch, or rather very few people will be physically at the auditorium to watch because they could watch at home. No one has arrived at the stadium to see the thing, but you will be checking periodically to see whether it is possible that one of your siblings or one of your other family members might be watching, or whether they say something in comments or anything like that. But so far that has not been the case. No one has said anything pre-game yet. But yeah, I will note that feeling for later. And then, now we get into the game. You all put on your headsets and your other various sensory details in order to get feedback from the game itself, while also protecting yourself from being seriously injured outside of game, because it would be wild if you swung your arm and then didn't know what was meeting it in the real world. But as you put on your helmet and the HUD materializes, you now witness this large kind of Victorian castle space. It looks like the silhouette of the space looks like a large castle that may have been made in the 1800s, but it is all made out of stone and concrete and steel in ways that are obviously incongruous to this place. And even though it is not perfectly symmetrical, it does have a kind of shared uniqueness in its space, such that you can look at it and immediately know that at the center of two very large open spaces on either side of this space are two roughly dodgeball sized orbs, one of which is blue and one of which is yellow. And the yellow one is yours, and no one is allowed to touch it, because if they touch it, they score. If they leave with that and run all the way to the other end, they will score points from you. And the blue one is simultaneously your prime target.
So this is get to the middle and come back, not get to the middle and carry forward.
This is get to the end and come back.
Okay.
You see your teammates materialize. You notice on your HUD that there are charge bars available for loading in mechs for your offense and your shield, but that they have not been filled yet. The shield will fill faster than the others, but both of those are presently empty, so you will play for some time solely at your present heightened build. You see on the other end, as you stand on the eastern side of this space, you see on the western side of this space the other team materialize. You notice that while some of the other team members are trying obviously to intimidate you in some sense, you notice that Hannah is not looking ahead at your team whatsoever. And you notice that Ryan is staring only at Sam.
All right. So if there's 2 flags, then are we doing larger teams? Because I think one flag per team and 3-on-3 is logistically difficult.
It is 5-on-5.
Okay.
So 2, as we discussed rules earlier, 2 strikers essentially, 1 blocker and 2 interrupters essentially. So yeah, especially because attempting to close that distance and also perform offense, a large amount of space is required, but that also gives you a lot of space to maneuver into and out of potential conflict, especially with mechs. So yeah. A beat passes and you both observe each other as we first enter into opening moves. Opening moves. Who will be the first to take the upper hand? Setup.
Is there a way to make that card bigger? Yeah, great. Cool.
Rival team. How are the rivals feeling and looking as the match begins? So, looking ahead at the Dockside Demons, you see what appears to be a kind of ferocity that has overtaken them. It seems as if in this moment they are not only incredibly confident, but you get the impression, they are very obviously giving the impression that they are willing to do tremendous harm in order to accomplish this goal, and they're trying to let you know that that is the case as obviously as possible. So it also remains very obvious that they seem very confident going into this game. At which point we now get into play. And this is for the Neons. Each teammate describes what they are doing as the match gets underway, answering the following questions. How are you feeling and looking in the moment? I'll ask each question in turn and allow you to answer. So, Sam, how are you feeling in this moment?
I think Sam is nervous that it seems like the demons are coming out of the gate with aggression, but they are keeping. Like he doesn't outwardly show worry, and is focused on kind of basically evaluating their formation as they come out of the block.
Okay. Melly, how are you feeling and looking in this moment?
Melly is struggling to focus. Melly has basically just had to do the I will now be unavailable for the next 30 minutes message while simultaneously begging her parents to please do something because she is not going to be available. Um, and so she is very much cognizant that at any moment more messages could be rolling in that she will have no power to handle. And so she is just really struggling to get her head in the game right now and focus and observe the terrain. Okay, we're familiar with this castle layout. We know the drill. And why isn't Hannah looking at me?
Okay. I'm gonna ask the rest of these questions before I hone in on that thing, because I might figure that out later. Um, what are you most worried about in the match ahead? And I'll start with Melly and then go to Sam.
Yeah, Melly is definitely worried. I mean, certainly about external things, but she is worried that she is going to uh like be unable to counter Hannah's typical like striker role. And I think she's also picking up on the vibe from the other team, and that is kind of freaking her out a little bit. Um, and I think that she might also be worried that Sam has not um, I don't know, I think she may be getting a little bit of a vibe from Sam as well that she can't place, and it's kind of concerning her. Like Sam normally is very kind of businesslike, but right now he seems almost like adrenaline has hit and he's just gone cold, and that's a little nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm. Sam.
I think Sam is most worried that the demons are just going to bowl us over and we're going to lose. We're going to start losing the morale battle immediately.
Yeah, very likely. And what dream burns strongest in your mind? I'll start with Sam.
Okay. Um, I think her dream here is that the new sets of drills that they've been sharing with the team are going to work because Sam is a wrestler and so has been working with the team on less the striking parts and more like judo jujitsu. So that if they come at us in a wave, the like the dream result for Sam is that they charge and they all end up flat on the floor and the neons surge forward.
Aha. Okay. Melly.
Yeah, Melly, I think is because Melly has been here for the last couple of years playing on the team and has been a party to the like always a bridesmaid, never a bride kind of situation. Um, Melly is just like desperately hoping that they finally get through this time because like Melly's parents, while they respect her dedication to this sport and they recognize that it's something that has the opportunity to parlay into like job potential, career potential, they still treat it as just secondary to all of their dreams and goals and life stuff. And so she really is trying to be like, I can prove that this is a thing that's valuable.
Okay. Nice. So, um, each player now draws one card from the match deck, and can spend spirit tokens as well, to um, to draw additional cards if they feel free. And if the total of all of those cards is greater than 12, if the total of those cards is greater than 12, then the Newcastle Neons will have momentum, which I will describe when we reveal all of those cards. So if you could just
Oh,
put
it
those
says
cards.
greater than 12 for 3 players. Is there like a 2-player version? Because there's 2 of us. Um, does somebody else have?
Yeah, because if
Yeah. If we don't have 3 players, like how maybe Brandon, you should draw a card as like a third, like a
as like
dummy.
the team
Yeah.
card.
I was
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing. So I'll show mine first. That's one. So a 5 and a 6 will do it.
I got a 6.
And so
Aha.
what do I have? I have to spend spirit to get an extra card. I draw a
You
card
can't
and then
spend. Yes, you can spend a spirit token, and you have spirit tokens on your sheet
yep.
to draw an extra card.
Okay, so I'm gonna draw a card, and then discard a card, and I do have a 5.
Aha. I will add that when you spend spirit to draw cards, you still keep the cards. You don't have to discard any. It would just have been an additional one.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, because
but all of those.
the interface here says for each spirit spent, draw 1 extra card and then discard 1 card. So that's what I was doing.
All right, yeah, it does. I forgot that it actually did say that. Ah, you are correct. But yes, but all of these cards are now discarded as well. But you did meet the thing. You win.
Phew.
Which means that you now gain momentum. The good thing about momentum means that in any other match game where there is a tie, you win, which is particularly
Sweet.
valuable. So the 6, if I recall correctly, was Valerie's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so on a win, the player of the highest card answers their headway. So let's see that 6 again.
Oh yeah, what was the headway?
The headway on the 6 was...
What pushes you to
pushes-
the next level of perfection? Okay. Okay, so presumably then the play starts, right? The game is on.
Mhm,
Okay.
the game is
Um,
on.
All right. This is it. Again, she feels like she has something to prove to her parents. She is going to like shed all of the outside worries and she's going to focus on this. And so she immediately attaches herself to the runner and they are just going straight for the flag. She is not going to worry about the other team. She is going to worry about how fast can they get through here. And so she's keeping like she's keeping an eye out for the opposite, her counterpart basically who is potentially peeling off from the other side and coming at this. But she is going to focus. She is going to get that flag and escort it back, and nothing is going to stop her. She doesn't know what Hannah's deal is, but she does know that Hannah has had a pro offer, and if Hannah can get a pro offer, then so can Melly.
Nice.
Okay, nice. So, as we've gotten out of the opening move, let's go back here. Right, so, let's get into some match games then. If I recall correctly, the next match game that has to start from the array. So let's start with Deepest Hunger. How do you deal with their aggressive play? So let's start, I guess, with Sam for this one.
Yeah, so it says the demons play like a team possessed, fueled by their craving for redemption. How do they show their aggressive style? Are you going to answer
So this
that?
this is for me to qualify.
Okay.
Because I already had in my brain the answer to this question, which is I think that Ryan has kind of set up the team for a certain kind of aggression in their play that sometime previously, maybe even kind of foreshadowed through their earlier play in the season, they have been overwhelmingly brutal and very united in that kind of brutality. And that you can observe that they're kind of setting up to do a great deal of that similar harm here. Um, they are taking a lot of contact opportunities. They're trying to prevent any interaction with the actual scoring of the game. They're just kind of trying to take players out very suddenly. And while it hasn't immediately materialized yet, obviously as the game continues, that's going to be even more intense as players start to get more potentially overwhelmed and time passes and players feel worn down. The potential for actual injury might actually increase as a result of continuing to play this way.
Okay. So, and then the thing for you, which is me here, do you understand their desperation? Does it remind you of anything in your own life? I think Sam gets the desperation because of having interacted with demons in other practices, right? Because they're like the neighborhood team, so we have a number of interactions with them. But Sam's understanding might be filtered through the other players, and so it's a more intellectualized understanding than like one that emerges from empathy or compassion. And so they're not as connected to it, but it reminds Sam of his old team that he got scouted from, which did not have as much money, did not have a great reputation, was a school that where Sam transferred from literally a wrestling scholarship into the esport, and so there is a bit of mirroring for Sam, but she's coming at it in a different way than he thinks the rest of their team is.
Okay. Cool. So, rival team. Your hunger sparks a terrifying fire as every moment becomes a battle. Draw 3 cards, place 2 face down, and reveal the third. Okay. Let's see those. Okay.
Dun 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 dun. And card 3 is a 1.
Answer a headway or setback on your revealed card to set up the moment by describing your combative play. Whose attention do you crave? I think it is very obvious to Sam that Ryan in particular is going out of their way to get your attention. Like, it's very much a kind of I just hurt your guy. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. You can't stop me. But then like not actually giving you a moment to respond, just continuing to be on the offensive, just to like giving this overall intense visual of dominating the game through force, specifically to get in your head.
Yeah, and I think Ryan has always been good at playing to get attention and being kind of like a wrecking ball in doing so.
Yeah. So, you are pressured at every turn. Choose your response, then draw 2 cards plus spirit. So will you fight fire with fire or turn down the heat?
I'm just reading these real quick. Sorry. Let's see. So fight fire with fire is how do you escalate the situation by giving as good as you get? Draw cards. Add each side's cards together. If you have the higher total, you win. Or turn down the heat. Discard one card, then choose one of the rival's cards to discard. Reveal all remaining cards. So, okay, I should draw 2 cards, and then I get to pick. Oh, choose your response and then draw 2 cards. Okay. Yeah, I think it makes sense here for Sam to try to turn down the heat, because previously they'd talked about being worried about the team getting roughed up. So I'm going to draw 2 here. Discard 1 card, then choose one of your rival's cards to discard. Reveal all remaining cards. So that means I get my... If I have 2 and you have 3, then I have to beat your 2 with my 1?
Yes.
Okay. I hate it.
I mean, do the thing, and then you will see a thing emerge very suddenly.
All right. So I am going to discard a card, and I'm going to ask that you discard this card.
Aha! I will show you that this card was a 6.
Whew! But what's the other one? Oh, wait. Do I reveal my card now? Okay.
You do.
I have a 4.
I have a 4. So...
But does that mean it's a tie and we
reveal-
have momentum?
I think it...
Reveal all remaining cards. If you have the lowest card, you win. Momentum means you beat ties regardless. So you have the lowest card.
So is it the lowest card or lowest title? Lowest total, right? Because I have 4 and you have 5.
Well, yes, it's the lowest. Right, yes, the lowest total. So yeah.
Okay.
So you win. That means that you now answer a headway or setback to show how the point ends.
All right. So the headway on my 4, probably?
Yes, it has to be on yours.
Great. So the headway says, what new spin do you add on an old technique? So I think to turn down the heat, the technique or the move that Sam calls is Monkey in the Bazaar. And what this is a it's an Aikido redirect kind of move. Of you don't clash, you don't go body to body, you slip by and redirect their energy. And so what the Neons are doing is taking the fact that the demons are moving like kind of together and coordinated and pinballing them into each other and breaking up their aggressive formations, and which basically kind of breaks down that offensive drive or that offensive approach.
Nice. And lastly, did you make the right call?
Did I make the right call? It seems like it. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be going well for the game. You seem to have put an end to their unnecessary combativeness. I would like to think that you made the right call, but that's for you to decide.
Yeah, and so like to add a little bit to the fiction, when the demon's kind of attack formation has fallen apart, Sam calls out to Melly to make her basically to make her charge, to take Williams with you for your offensive.
So right. So just to make sure of a thing, so I don't potentially step on any... Right, cool. I just want to make sure of that. So I will admit that I made an error in essentially picking a match game for you. But I will say that was just me picking my match game. And then I will let either Sam or Melly choose the next match game from the array. That's the 3 cards to the left of the discard that they would like to resolve next.
Valerie, why don't you pick?
Okay, so My other two options are, oh, nope, we got new options now. So we have head-to-head, look at me now, and team combo. Head-to-head is can you win against a rival? Look at me now is can you impress another? And team combo is can your hearts and minds connect under pressure? I am going to, let's see, I feel like under the circumstances for her, probably it's gonna have to be look at me now.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's do it. So, look at me now. The setup. Lock eyes from a distance with the person you hope to impress. Who is it? Ask with your glance. What would it take to impress you? And so I am, of course, locking eyes with Hannah. It's like, Hannah,
Mhm.
what's going on? You've been ignoring me this whole time. What can I do?
So now I have to give an answer. Let me think about this for a little bit. I think I think the thing that Hannah needs for you to impress her is you need to show that you want this as badly as she does.
Mm. So shall it
S-
be?
So, rival team, draw one card and answer a headway or setback for the rivals to set up the moment. Ta-da!
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, this is juicy. Um, I like the headway here, which is how are you prepared for this moment?
Mhm.
Which is again, I feel like Hannah is purposefully. I feel like Hannah's lack of engagement in this moment is based on a kind of impression that this is trivial to you or to the Neons as a team. That you all have been your star has been rising so easily in this contest that this game doesn't matter, um and the thing that matters to Hannah is proving that the game matters, that it is real and pure and you actually need to fight for it. um and I think that as a result, um Hannah's gone out of her way to prepare specifically for all of the typical strategies that the Neons would potentially employ, and has gone like particularly out of her way to like study melee in particular, just so she would have an opportunity to rub it in your face that hey, I am better than you because you do not care about this game.
Okay. So now
Mhm.
I have to, as time slows as you move, everyone is riveted. Draw two cards plus spirit. Here we go. Drawing two cards. Okay. Oh,
If you do a
if
Paris
you draw
card,
a
you
prowess
win.
card, you win. I did not, and so I feel like I need to maybe spend a spirit.
Let me,
No?
yeah, maybe. Let me see what you drew.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
play
because
what
this
you.
it may be fun to play with one of the
Mhm.
setbacks here. What catches you by surprise, or who do you endanger with your actions? Oh, those are
I
both
mean,
tough.
if you still want to win, I mean, a point is a point, but
Ah, yeah, I don't know, because then I also feel like should I be saving my spirit?
So if the demons score here, do they also gain momentum?
they do not.
Okay.
Momentum is permanently yours.
Okay. So it's per match.
Yes.
Got it.
Hmm.
Are we allowed to look at the discard pile and count cards?
Feel free. The discard pile literally tells you how many. Do what you must. I'm not gonna stop you. The
Yeah,
So
because
discard
there's
pile is
there's
typically
already
open information.
yeah, there's only two prowess cards, it looks like.
it does look like there's
So,
only been
but
two prowess cards
yeah.
drawn.
So it's definitely possible the next card is going to be a prowess card, but it's also very possible that it will not be.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take the L. It's cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna say. Um, what catches me by surprise? Um, no, you know what? I I'm gonna say that with my actions, I am endangering the runner. Like I try to um I try to execute an attack on one of the like attackers coming in from the other team. So I'm sort of playing as a defender here, but I'm also kind of switching up, and so in doing so, I actually leave the runner vulnerable, and they get taken down by the second attacker from the team. Um, and Hannah sees it, and I'm mortified. It's like, oh no, I tried to do a glory move and it just utterly failed.
Yeah. Okay. So after you look at the person you want to impress, ask them with your glance, what do you think of me now? Has it changed?
Ouch.
And then I give you an answer. I think you've just proven to me that you don't want this as badly as I do. And that means that I must destroy you now.
Ugh, I do
Are
want.
you
I just
are you
messed
happy
up.
with the response?
No, I'm bummed. I'm super bummed.
So,
Oh Lord.
in what circumstances do we gain fight or spirit?
Right, so let me make sure about that again.
Is it just a like daily life and upkeep type thing? We don't gain it during a match, or is there something else?
I do not think. Let me make sure of a thing in the rules. Because I'm trying to remember how you gain those things.
Sorry, I was not able to like read and process the rules to be able to understand stuff on my own this week because I've had lots of things going on.
You'd be like that sometimes.
I perfectly understand. It has been.
Yeah, so you get spirit tokens when you complete a trait or complete a condition.
Okay,
Right.
Um,
got it.
Mm-hmm. Um, on the last page of the core rulebook PDF, there are notes on how you gain spirit and fight tokens, which you gain by accepting travel tokens or completing traits,
Cool.
and then choosing to take fight instead of a condition.
Okay.
Um, okay,
So,
cool. So that was uh, Melly's match game. So now, Sam, would you like to pick a match game?
okay. I feel like Bliss I should leave for other people because it's more about their bit, their kind of character things. I think Team Combo is a great pick here because Sam is the captain. Can your
mhm.
hearts and minds connect under pressure?
Mm-hmm. Plus, having a move that also puts your teammate in focus means both of you get to react to action.
That's true. So that is cool. I'm going to flip it. Team Combo. You choose a teammate you've been practicing with. So that's going to be Melly. What combo have you been training secretly together? So I have a couple of options. One is like a gymnastics boost thing of like
Mm-hmm.
Sam gives you a boost and you can like jump over the opposing team, or it's something about like riding, like somebody rides on the back, like Melly rides on the back of Sam's mech, or like we do the same boost thing but it's with a mech.
Mm-hmm. Like, you do the fastball special from the
Absolutely.
mech.
Yeah, something like that. What sounds good to you, Valerie?
I definitely would love to do a fastball special. And
Okay.
so it's just like you're like over or under, and I'm like under. We just go.
Okay. Um, so
So, next question is teammates. Do you trust them right now? Why might this not work?
Ah, yes, I think. hold on. Okay. Because mechanically, what is the difference? Is there a difference of whether I trust them or not? Um,
So the teammate chooses to either connect or take
and
control.
that's in the next step. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that yes, I trust Sam right now because I don't trust myself. And so it's kind of like I need Sam to carry me out of this, basically. It's like as soon as he calls the move, I'm just like, oh, thank God they have a plan. Because I have just hecked this up so badly.
Right.
I'm glad that they know what's up.
Because if somebody knows they're going to be thrown, they can they can roll into it. And so a grappler could like throw their teammate over a bunch of enemies, and because it's digital, it's less dangerous.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
now's the moment. Show them what you've got. So I'm going to draw one card and reveal it. How do you show that? How do you show trust in your teammates? So it's a 5 prowess. I show trust in Melly by giving her everything I've got. Like this is prowess, right? I guess, is there might? Is that another suit? There's energy. So I show trust by not holding back. I do it at full speed. We've ramped up to the level that Sam is doing right away. And that is showing her trust in Melly, that we don't need to warm it up, that we've done it enough, that we can just execute it. And so that's
Nice.
me. And now over to Melly.
Okay, so it looks like first I'm going to draw two cards and see what I got here. Oh, yikes on bikes. Okay. And so then play a card of the suit played by your teammate to connect with them despite the pressure. I don't have one.
Oh
I do
no.
not have I do not have a card of this of the suit.
Hmm.
Um, so I cannot connect, so I have to take control.
Hmm. Which still is just still
Yeah.
narratively makes sense
So
because you are disconnected in this
Yeah.
moment.
So play a card of a different suit to take control of the play despite your teammate. Why and what does this look like? Um, and so then we have to you're going to draw two cards, and then we add each side's cards together. If you have the highest total plus fight, you win. So I am going to drop a 3, which is the highest card that I got. And so in terms of how she takes control, and so we start to engage in the maneuver. Um, so like Sam, picks up Melly, gets ready to toss her, and then Melly realizes that someone else is like coming in from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of like letting Sam throw her, she, as soon as he draws his arm back and like as they're about to throw, Melly just backflips off the arm in an attempt to head off the person that's coming up behind.
Okay.
Okay. So next is the rival team. Draw two cards. How did they respond to this play? Let's see.
Ah!
Oh, I don't love this.
I'm beginning to think we're gonna do. I'm beginning to think the demons are doing well, folks. Well,
Oh,
not that well. Wow.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Ah,
so but I love this because their connection is stronger than ours in this play, but our prowess exceeds their focus, right?
yeah.
Like do we want to use that to frame how it plays out?
No, yeah. Like I think what happens is I think one of the many things that Hannah kind of prepared for and coached other players through. So the two rival players they are gonna actually confront in this moment are two other members of the team. And I'm thinking of it in terms of, because I recently have been rewatching the Boondocks. So there's this episode about playing dodgeball against a rival city in order to not lose their house. Um, and there's a scene where Huey Freeman is holding out his hand against this kickball that is moving at like ungodly velocity and like repelling it the way that you would repel attack in Dragon Ball Z until it breaks both of his arms.
Oh, dear.
And I'm thinking that that's what happens. That this move is otherwise thoroughly employed. These two cocky guys get in front of you and go, we're just gonna deflect this immediately. This is not even moving at the pace that it's supposed to. And they both like just kind of react in a way that they think is going to be just enough. Like they don't need to expend a great deal of energy to stop this momentum. They just need to do enough. And enough is not enough, and you send one guy flying to the other side, and one just kind of tumbles and crumples beneath you as you move forward. Which gets you the 1 point for Neons. And final question for, well, that's everything that just now happened. And that means that you need to answer a headway or setback to describe how the point ends.
So, should the headways only be from our two cards or from any of the cards?
You can select from any of these now.
Okay. So,
it usually qualifies where, but since it didn't, you can take any of these.
So we've got who helps you keep your cool, who inspires you to seize your moment, how do you narrowly avoid an old mistake, or how does your body seem to move by itself? And this is me answering for Sam, right? Because I'm the you in this scene.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Backflip. So I feel like the prowess here makes sense because we've kind of set it up as that is what makes the difference. That it's not a good connection, but that Sam is skilled enough as an athlete that when Melly goes flipping off, Sam is able to roll with the way that Melly's weight has shifted, and they basically do a what's the acrobatics move when you basically do like a back somersault? Like if I'm standing up and I just go backwards.
You meant like a back handspring?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah, back handspring.
So they do a back handspring into an axe kick on the other player. And so like Sam wasn't even planning to do that, but the motion kind of takes him to the point where he's basically going backward and identifies where the demons players are and is spotting off of like a location, probably like maybe like a gargoyle, right? Because we're in this gothic castle. So they spot off the gargoyle, and then their legs come whipping around and knock the other player back, which gives us an opening. And what is there anything else? Describe how the scene. Nope, that is the end of that scene.
Okay, cool. So that was. Did each of you just select a match game already? Does Melly still need to select a match game?
Melly did.
Yeah, I did one, and we've each done it. Yeah.
The three of us have each done one. Is this a good time to take a break?
I am good to take a break if you all are.
It'll help with dividing up the podcast episodes.
That too, yes.
Shout out to Rudy Basso, our amazing audio editor. You should, folks should go and check out the things that Rudy is doing because Rudy is also a games writer, and not just an audio editor.
If you have not yet seen To Be or Not to Be a Villain, it is perhaps the most intense setup for an RPG that I've ever seen in my life, and I very much like to play it. I very much like to play it with actors, but yes. We are going to take yet another very brief break, 5-ish to 10-ish minutes, depending on what people need. Again, a reminder to you all that a break for you is a break for us is a break for you as well. So please take care of your body so you can continue to enjoy more Fight with Spirit when we are back very, very soon.
Hello. Over to you, Brandon.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and I hope that you're excited for more Fight with Spirit, as the Newcastle Neons are well underway in this very intense game that started out very brutal and then just started shifting very radically in the Neon's direction in ways that I'm sure are very exciting for everyone who is watching and everyone who is playing similarly. So with that, we should get into our next match game to see what other radical swings in play take place in this match. And with that, I think I will go into head to head, which I like a lot, obviously, because it means that I get to lean on Ryan again. Um, um, so right, so single out a player on the rival team. That's obviously going to be Sam. Why do you long to take them on? How do you challenge them? So I think Ryan's thing, based on some of the stuff that we've set up prior, is that the game is not fun anymore. And I think that if I confront you with this competitive spirit, like, even though I know that the nature of competition is part of the reason why the game is not fun anymore, a part of me still feels like if I still play against you, win or lose, I will find the thing that is good about the game. So it has to be you. It has to be nobody else. Nothing else about this game matters. It is just us in this moment, in the hopes that I will rediscover what is valuable here. And I think that the way that I do that is like, because of the nature of the game, it is kind of par for the course for some like mild scuffles to take place in or around potential scoring positions, not for the purposes of scoring or not, but simply to kind of control space in that sense. Like, so I feel like what happens is I confront you in the attempt to take the Neon's score orb. And I would otherwise take it and run with it. But I actually, because I know that you are in the area, because I know that you're the only Neon's member who can get to me soon enough to respond, I take the ball. I rush forward with it simply to express the intent that if you can't stop me, I'm gonna score the ball. And then I stop and like maintain eye contact with you.
So I want to introduce the question of are the mechs involved at this point, right? Because we haven't done mech stuff previously, but we're far enough into the game that they're probably getting involved. And should they be involved in this matchup?
I would let you qualify that. If you want to shield in this moment, you can shield with the mech. Right. And the mech cooldown timer charges faster than the others, so it is available to you in this stage of play. I think the game has been going on for maybe 45 to 50 minutes by now. It's I think all of the mechs are in place somewhere at this point, so you can confront me mechless or mech on in this moment, but that this confrontation is make or break regardless.
Yeah, because like another option is that you run forward, get the ball, throw it behind you, and take your mech, kind of coming at me. And I'd been holding mine in reserve, and then I have to activate mine to meet you.
Yes, I like this even more because we qualified that you can't score in mech. So this is really just me telling you, please come at me, bro.
Yep.
So yeah, mech to mech. Let's see what goes. Let's see what happens next. So the next cue is yours.
Okay. And so I think how do they accept the challenge is that Sam summons her own mech to meet you instead of like trying to like pull you away and just like actively dodge to not get knocked out. This is head to head instead of cat and mouse. And so, you know, I activate the mech and it's got this big, like, what if I'm thinking like a shield that goes like this, right? Where it's kind of higher at both sides, like a more exaggerated kite shield, but the bottom is squared off. And so it's like a shield that's larger than the largest human player, that, you know, you can use to like block off space, right? But you can also use it to just check the other person.
Yes.
But it's not as good an offensive weapon as some of the other models have. But it's great for like board control, right? Because you can close something off. And so yeah, I take my mech and meet you. What's Ryan's mech like? What model or what class does they use, or do they use?
So, as we qualify more about the relationship between Ryan and Sam, when we used to play before, my core mech class used to be a kind of agile movement class, like higher mobility, the ability to kind of like clamber over other mechs in some very unique ways in order to reject some kind of crowd control in certain kinds of circumstances. But as of late, I've leaned into like bruisers of a sort. The mech that I'm using at this moment is actually not very big or very strong. It actually still leans into a little bit of agility, just not as much as before, because it has to prioritize some of its energy into holding arms, because now my mech has 3 limbs and 2 of them have swords.
Oh, nice.
Well, they're essentially batons. They're essentially energy batons, but they look like katanas.
Right.
And there's just like this vestigial arm here that is just a fist for just punching. So yeah.
Okay. Play. Your battle will be decided one blow at a time.
So the rival is you. Draw 4 cards and play the highest 3 face down in a line. Face down. I love this so much.
Okay. I have placed my face down in a line.
So I draw 3 cards. I don't get any spirit tokens, so I only have the 3. And place them face down opposite your rival's cards. I see what's gonna happen here. I like this a lot. Let's move these cards over. Yeah.
We're gonna line them up one by one, so we're gonna get 3 beats of this this bout, right?
It does say draw, not place, so I do get to see them first. Let's make some strategic decisions. This is gonna be juicy. This is gonna be delightful. I love this so very much.
All right.
You and rival, 1 matched pair at a time, flip the cards and compare their values plus fight. The player of the higher card wins that round. They describe how they get to the edge by answering a headway or asking their rival to answer a setback. The first person to win 2 rounds wins the point.
Dun dun dun. All right, so starting here. Yep.
1, 2, 3. Wow! But you win ties, so that's yours. So do you answer your headway, or do you make me answer my setback? My setback, I don't think qualifies in this moment.
Yeah. So I like the idea that. So my headway is what reckless move pays off. So I think here, Sam is using Ryan shit against him. And so, like, Ryan comes in with the swords, and Sam just mustachios Ryan's mech. So the mustachio is when you take a round shield and you just pop the other person in the face. And so, like,
Oh, wow.
Ryan is coming in with the swords, and Sam just takes that shield on offense. But because it's a headway and I won this pass, it knocks Ryan's mech back enough that the sword strikes just completely go spoiled. And so Ryan, you're reeling in this first moment.
Yeah. I imagine I'm very angry in this moment and very visibly sizing up for the next blow, which is 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow! So I got a 4 and Sam got a 4 and Ryan got a 3, which means that this ends with the second pass. We don't even have to get to the third pass because it's best 2 out of 3. But we should look at those numbers to see.
Oh yeah, but we will call this scene first before I show you what was about to happen.
So how do I clearly counter an attack? Or who pushes you to make a decisive move? Or why do you pull back in a crucial moment? Why can't you keep interrupting your thoughts? Brandon, does one of those setbacks appeal to you more than the other? So that you get to narrate a beat?
Okay, why do you pull back at a crucial moment? So, we've never played like this before. We are particularly well versed in most forms of play in this genre. We are talented enough to do all sorts of things in play, but we've never been specifically like this combative in our previous play. Because we didn't need to be, because we found other more valuable, more challenging ways of actually being competitive. So I've never seen you this forceful in a game before. And in that moment, I kind of have fun with the thing again. I think you revealed to me now that I wasn't like, before I was filling the hole and the fun of the game with brutality because I wasn't finding a way to play that was enjoyable or rewarding before.
Right.
And I think I discovered 2 things as a result. One, that there's nothing wrong with that you can be aggressive, just not going out of your way to actively harm other people. Like, your desire shouldn't be doing violence. Your desire should be, how is this actually making play more complex?
Right.
And in the act of you teaching me that, I had fun again and learned that maybe the thing that allows me to have fun again is playing with people who I cared about and who mattered to me. And in the period of time that we haven't spoken and haven't been friends, I thought that maybe that was impossible, and in this moment I'm like, maybe I can still bond with people. Maybe my bond with Sam is broken, and maybe there's still time to figure that out. But maybe the problem that I have with not having people who matter to me to play with is something that I can still solve before I can never enjoy this game again.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I cannot just let you sock me. I just take it. Like, I close my eyes and accept it. And that's how you win that point.
Yeah. So I want to do, like, I don't know how the match moments work, but I would love to do basically an inner monologue thing for Sam right here, if that's okay.
You get one match. Each player gets one match moment during the match, so you could just break the action to do that at this moment whenever you want. Yeah.
So one of them is get in your head, reveal your inner thoughts about a secret hope or difficult question. So the 2 mechs come at each other, and Sam takes this risky offensive move that pays off, and I think they misread how Ryan reacts. Instead of understanding that Ryan is like, cool, This is fun. Like letting themselves get laid out. Sam is really worried that they have completely closed the door on being able to reconnect with Ryan ever, because this is not how we used to play. And so Sam is in his own head about having been too aggressive and like broken some unspoken agreement between them. And so Sam kind of goes over Ryan's mech and basically turns to block off a corner so that their runner can come up and be able to score here. So this could be Melly or a runner that Melly is working with, right, as the kind of scene broadens. But the emotional moment or the emotional beat for Sam is not triumph. It is like fear and guilt.
Oh no.
Because if we're going to win, there should still be some turmoil.
Yeah, feelings are still good during the winning.
So what would happen if we had done a different order?
If we had one more round, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So
I should have put this. I should. Oh my god.
So you saved your. So I have a 3, and Brandon has a 6. So if you had put that.
No, there's nowhere I would have put it, because you would have. And if I relocated any 2 or any 3, one of those would still be a tie, and the 4 would still beat the other. You were always gonna win this match.
So if you played your 3 and then your 6, and I played the same, you would have won, right? Because I have 2, 4, 3. If you played 3, 6, 2,
well, yeah,
you would have won. But in general, the matchup,
was heavily in your.
Because it was just the order, right? Because I have a 2, a 3, and a 4. You have a 2, a 3, and a 6. So it was just the order that did it.
Mm-hmm. But it's still like generally in your favor because of the ties.
Because of momentum.
Yeah, but yeah, that was I dug that a lot.
Very cool.
So let's
discard these.
Recall all of these and shuffle this match deck again.
So after Ryan, what do you think of your rival now?
So I'll play this moment as after Sam has already let that score pass and is now like left from the field. I will eject from my mech very calmly. And as I'm looking at you make your next play, I'm like, yeah, I in this moment I believe that you are playing the game as it's supposed to be played, and I'm more excited about the way that you play than I have been when we were friends, and I feel like one of the ways that I may potentially enjoy this game after we never get to if we never get to play again is to play like you instead, and I'm trying to figure out what that means now.
Cool.
Yeah. Even though we're never going to be friends again now, but yes. I'm so excited about this. So that was mine?
That was yours. So the Neons are up 3-1 on the Demons.
Mm-hmm. So in this moment, because it's been quite a while, if you want to play one more match before we get into our final moments, or if we want to just go towards the end of the game, I will let whoever wants to make the next play make that decision.
So
I think mathematically we're probably into the final moments, yeah.
Yeah, because my final moments isn't worth points. Is final moments? So it doesn't determine a winner. Final moments.
It just determines essentially the flavor of the end of the game.
Okay. So do we want to do another point or go to final moment? I'd rather probably go to final moments and then have more time for epilogue.
Yeah, I feel like at this point the game is kind of that's it. We've hit the end more or less.
I am in favor of this.
Okay. So I guess Valerie, do you want to read the final moments bit? Since you were not as much in the last scene.
Okay. So, your team. Each teammate follows the below. Choose the suit that has been most influential on you in this match. Show how your attitude towards that suit has changed by describing how you play and what you're thinking as in the game. I'm sorry, as the game heads toward the end. I have old eyes. Okay. So, um, so we're each going to do that. So choose the suit that has been most influential and show how your attitude towards the suit has changed by describing how you play and what you're thinking as the game head towards the end. Um, so I think that in terms of the suit that we pick, like, does it have to be one that we had a lot of, or just kind of like the one that we feel resonates?
Just one that you feel resonates. I mean, we've gone through the entire deck. You've touched each suit at least once. But yeah, anyone that you think um, matches the tone that you're going for.
I think that I think she's going to go with focus because, again, when she came in, Melly was very scattered and concerned that she wasn't going to be able to focus and she wasn't going to be able to get her head in the game. But she did. And so even when she failed, even when she, tried something and it didn't work, even when she, let her desire for the attention of her rival, um, you know, take over when she should have been focusing on her teammates and the play. She still did have, she was still playing the game. She wasn't worrying about her family. She wasn't worrying about her siblings. She wasn't worrying about what was going to happen afterwards as much as, worrying about playing. And and I think that like in the moment when, she took over from Sam in that one move, it was because she was so focused that she realized that their tactic needed to pivot. And so just focus has been very important to her throughout.
Nice.
Yeah, I think for Sam,
Um,
go ahead.
mhm. No, continue.
I think for Sam, statistics like in card play wise, it's probably prowess, but I think I have a better story beat for energy, um, because the demons came out of the gate with an incredible energy, and um, the neons had to figure out how to accommodate for that, and we de-escalated, right? So high energy, we met it with low energy and reducing energy. But then the thing that Sam did that took a 2-1 lead and turned it into a 3-1, like to be in position to win, was meeting Ryan head to head and coming out with energy that was surprising. It wasn't connection, focus, or prowess. It was the energy that was really more the kind of the the suit that flavored why Sam kind of won that first hit. Even if I don't know that that was the suit of the card that was played, I think that's kind of the narrative framing that makes more sense here. And so Sam realized that there is a way to use unexpected energy that isn't irresponsible, isn't dangerous, but is effective.
Yeah. Um,
Your turn, Brandon.
I think I think energy counts for me as well. Because I mean, as stated, the demons have been coming with a demonic energy in this game, um, and had done so for reasons that were too selfish and too like dismissive of the game itself. And the way that that has changed as a result is now where they've witnessed what is essentially a different energy. Now that they've seen the energy of the neons, still playing with a kind of intensity and a kind of confidence, but not with the kind of carelessness or brutality that they've been playing, and that it's been working for them. They are now noticing that that is the fundamental hole in their play that needed to be resolved in order for their play to improve. And especially for uh, Ryan and Hannah, but the other players are noticing it as well because they were kind of just attached to brutality because their captain told them this is how you're gonna destroy the other team, and no one will ever be able to match up to us, etc., etc. And then they're learning sometimes just being casually violent is actually the worst strategic decision you can make. And they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do that again. How about we actually have a plan? And for Ryan and Hannah in particular, it is observing that that the Neons have been more strategic, have been exerting more of their focus and more of their actual stamina towards making risky plays for the benefit of scoring rather than just being confrontational to the other team. And that's like radically rearranged the way that they have processed the way that they're supposed to play, but it happens too late and the score rapidly starts increasing because I didn't get to the funny part that I think I enjoy the most about Fight with Spirit, which is that points in match games are just a metaphorical symbolic representation of points in game. So I think that because of the nature of how this game typically plays in an actual FPS and how it might be translated to an ARG kind of format in this sense, that you have beat the Dockside Demons like 99-29, just like soundly scoring against them on a regular basis because nobody's been observing the other flag at all. Um, so yeah. The match is over. The winner is announced. Neons, how do you each react? I'll start with Melly.
Melly is excited and relieved, but part of her is actually still kind of like, does it matter? Is it going to matter? And so she still is sort of worried, right? Like she she wonders if she's made a bad choice in, putting her family aside temporarily for this, and whether it's worth pursuing something that is going to require that of her, or whether what she really wants to do is, engage in something that is going to allow her to be more flexible about family time. She's seen what it is for her parents to be entirely unavailable, and maybe she doesn't want that actually. But at the same time, she hopes still that that they'll finally take this seriously, maybe now that she's won, now that she's proven that this is a valid thing, you know, maybe this is going to be a turning point for her.
Sam.
I think for Sam, this is it's like validation of their approach, right? Because they focused on training wrestling. They talked a lot about being able to like adjust and respond effectively, and made the right call to de-escalate. Um, and so they're feeling satisfied, but what they're doing, and there's a clear agenda, but what they're doing as the team is celebrating is like calling out specifically good things that each of the other players did, right? So they call out when Williams was able to respond quickly enough and come in and pick up the ball after Sam had laid out Ryan, and goes through the team and calls out Melly for seeing something that Sam didn't see and modifying the play in a way that kept us from getting like broken from the back line.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So now we go into ending credits. In this phase, we narrate the ending credits of the sports show. The ending credits are a reflective time to celebrate quieter moments. Think of each moment as a snapshot that flashes onto the screen as the credits roll. So I want to give everybody a beat of a thing that happens as a result of this moment in play. Um, so you have all so you have won the quarterfinals of this tournament. You're now moving to the semis. Things are looking good for the Newcastle Neons. You take off your helmets, your headsets from the auditorium, and you notice a thing that you wouldn't have noticed because the helmet has audio headsets within it specifically to take in game audio and cancel out noise from the outside. But as you take out your helmet, you notice the entire stadium is full. Other students, other teachers, family members. Melly, you see all of your siblings in the front row. They're here by themselves. No one is chaperoning them. You have no idea how they traveled to get here. You don't know if they ate or drank anything since they've been here.
The shift from delight to horror is immediate.
But they are cheering loudly for you because you've done a lot in this game. You've made a lot of the scoring and intercepting action in this game, so they're very hype about the fact that you are one of the top scorers of this quarterfinal. All of your teachers are present. Some of the students who are clearly still obviously recovering from last night's quarter crash, are still like very cheering very loudly for you, or cheering as loudly as they would have if they didn't lose their voice the night before. As the game closes and everybody starts exiting the AR, the other team walks towards you and some of its members start shaking your hand, congratulating you on the win. Sam, you notice Ryan has already somehow made it all the way to the door as if he is about to leave. What you do?
Go ahead.
No, continue. I'll let you have before I qualify anything.
I think to follow through on the tragic beat, I think Sam continues to read that as Ryan not wanting to have anything to do with them. Not like being hurt or, being satisfied, so they take this as a total lack of an invitation to interact.
Mm-hmm. What you don't notice in that moment is he was actually ushered away by his coach to check whether that that first blow in that confrontation you had may have caused any dizziness or vertigo that will now need to be checked out by Dockside U medical. And they're having like a very stern conversation about, well, how did you lose that fight in the first place? You're supposed to be so much better at this. Your mech is designed for this kind of confrontation. Like, what? Get your head in the game, guy. And Ryan turns back to glance at you while you are now in conversation with the rest of your team, and you don't even notice.
Perfect.
And one single strong manly tear rolls down his cheek, and then it just gives you a very stern, confident nod, and then moves to the team bus. Hannah walks up to you, Melly, like just the stern, angry stomping towards you, and then puts her hand out for a handshake.
Melly grabs her hand and then pulls her in for a hug. It's like, I still have our trophy from 10th grade.
And she gives you the strongest hug that you've ever gotten in your entire life. You're pretty sure you can hear some ribcage, some parts of your ribcage bruising. Um, the coach of the demons walks up to the coach of the neons. They grab each other by the forearm for this very stern forearm shake. Give each other like that stern, manly head nod. The coach from the demon says, "That's never gonna happen again, you know." And the coach from the neon says, "Of course not. We can go up to 3 figures anytime you like." And that's where we're gonna close that game with the sound of cheering resounding from the Newcrest University auditorium as we just kind of fade out on that scene. Thank you so very much for indulging me in yet another game of Fight with the Spirit. I really enjoyed this game, you guys. This game rocks. I'm sure you have now seen again how cool this game is. I'm very excited. I'm very glad that we got to do the thing. How do you feel about this?
I like this game a lot.
It's really fun.
Like, the thing that is still so astounding to me about this game is I am not a sports drama guy. I don't watch sports anime. I've never gotten into any of those hype classic sports movies that everybody else has. I think the fact that there is steel pan music in the Mighty Ducks ruined sports movies for me. So I didn't think that this was a thing that I would be hype about, but it's very good at generating hype. It's a well-designed, well-structured game in such a way that even the way that you interact with match games is not necessarily just about counting numbers until you win or lose something, but actively deciding how you feel about every moment in the game. And that's very good. I like it so very much. I want to do a shonen fight tournament arc with this. Actually,
Absolutely,
is what we should do next.
Right. Well, because the one-on-one, the duet game that you did had some combat stuff, and then this one had like rugby combat and mechs, and then clearly, so when we do a tournament arc, would we do all one-on-ones, or would there also be a melee element? Because like one-on-ones is more classic for the form.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. There is something here that has to work. But yes. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I still want very badly for all of these strange friends to get a chance to play it. This is the point where I let everybody else know that not only can you, as Mike linked in the chat, get the game online, you can buy the digital version right now, which will give you the opportunity to play virtually using Roll20 or playing cards.io as we have right now. But they are presently shipping the physical version as we speak. It is supposed to be out. It's supposed to be out now. For if it's not available for it was available for pre-order starting early in the month, but it should be shipping very, very soon. So if you want to actually physically hold the cards in your hand and play the game at a table and experience the epic highs and lows of insert sport here with your friends at a table, definitely check it out. It is actually very kick-ass. So yeah,
if you love RPGs and you have a group of friends who like sports that are not into RPGs, this is the game that you bring, to some day or some afternoon thing, sometime when there isn't a game to watch. You can pitch them on, I have this thing that's about telling character sports stories. And I think Fight with Spirit is a great option for somebody's first tabletop role-playing game, because it's very collaborative, but I feel like it's got good prompts so that people are maybe less likely to feel kind of at loose ends and not understand or not have enough to work on to be able to engage with the material. That's my take. Valerie, you've gotten to play it twice now, so how are you feeling about Fight with Spirit?
No, I love this game so much, and I think that like one of the fun things about it is that it is so adaptable in terms of you could play it with a real sport, you could play it with a fake sport that you invent on the spot. You could play it with any sport that has ever existed in an anime or TV show or video game. You can literally just be like, okay, I'm gonna do a blaze ball. Like it doesn't matter. You can play whatever you want. And yeah, I know now Brandon's like, blaze ball.
Why hadn't I thought about that the first? Thank you for that.
I mean, that would be the most eldritch version of this game, I suppose, but like that's,
Condition
why not?
incinerated.
But yeah, but I just also like the idea that we have gotten so far in indie tabletop RPGs that we can go from um do you want to play a game that is this flavor of fantasy, or do you want to play a game that is this flavor of fantasy, all the way to being able to tell your friends, do you want to play Kuroko no Basketball? Did you like Blue Lock? Then let's play this game. Because that's actually kind of fun to that we have such a wide range of things that you can experience in tabletop, and all of those things are very tightly constructed and curated to create the exact kind of experience that you get watching the thing. Because the thing that matters the most about Fight with Spirit is not necessarily winning or losing. We could have lost this game and it would have still been emotionally rewarding. And I think that the fact that they've done so well with that is really a testament to not only Story Brewer's design, but the capacity for the genre in general.
Okay,
Ooh,
but
wait, what's this?
so a friend or one of the people that I play with in my Blades game on Monday linked this in the Discord. Story Brewer's next game, Legal Minds, a legal drama RPG. Quote, take on the role of a hotshot lawyer fighting to win cases, dealing with client pressure, and battling for a promotion. Not to mention all the drama in your own life.
Objection. Sorry, I had to do it.
Oh my god. I love this so very much because it says, inspired by the high pressure legal world of The Good Wife, the personal drama of The Split, and the episodic case feel of Boston Legal. And if you've ever seen Boston Legal, there is an energy in those cases that is like chaotic to the point of being purely comic, which is
Right.
of note because Boston Legal is actually a comedy. And if we could do more of that, if we could do like some Ace Attorney levels of there are still very intense feelings taking place in this case, but it's also allowed to be silly.
Right.
She-Hulk.
yeah.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
This would be, I think, the most appropriate She-Hulk RPG.
I need this so badly, but we don't even like. We have to wait until the Kickstarter. I don't think anybody's seen it yet. I am so excited, especially if mechanically it still plays like Fight with Spirit. This will actually be very rad.
Yeah, it looks their website says see you on Kickstarter next year. So this is probably a 2024 thing, which means we're just going to have to satisfy ourselves by playing more Fight with Spirit.
Yes.
I'm good with that. Fight with
and
Spirit poker, Fight with Spirit chess. Fight with Spirit can be anything. It could be anything you dream.
And this is the part where I also say that I know that Story Brewers is very like excited about seeing other people's play. I'm pretty sure they watched the VOD of our first game, in fact, or at least noticed the tweet about it. So this is me putting out into the ether that if you ever want anybody to run a one-shot like playtest / announcement game of Legal Minds, we are available for the thing. Because I think that would be
Objection. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just keep doing it.
Overruled. We should do it.
I want so badly to do this thing, but yes. But again, thank you so very much for joining us for tonight's game of Fight with Spirit. This is your moment now to let all the lovely people know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you next, starting with Valerie.
Hi, I'm Valerie Valdes. You can find me at valerievaldes.com. You can find me on social media at Valerie Valdes or Valerie Valdes author, depending on the location. And social media is imploding, so maybe just go to my website, I guess. And you can find me on Twitch. The kids are asleep, which is when I stream video games.
Next, Mike.
Hello, I am Mike. I publish as Michael R. Underwood. I write action adventure stories such as Genrenauts, the R Fantasy Stabby Award finalist novella series, which I'm currently developing into a tabletop role playing game. I do fiction and I do podcasts like Speculate here with Brandon and Greg. I have been wearing many hats because that's required to survive capitalism as a creative in the 2020s. But if you would like to see more about how I do that thing, you can become a subscriber at patreon.com/Michael R. Underwood and hear about all of the different things that I'm doing. But for now, if you're not already subscribed at patreon.com/speculate, you definitely should be, because we just started recording a new mini series and we have already stacked up several cool behind the scenes extra features that we're going to be sharing with patrons once the series gets going. Brandon is stage managing that series as well, and it has come out of the blocks absolutely on fire in all of the best and worst ways. So y'all should look forward to that when we start releasing it in the soon future. That's me.
And as for me, I am Brandon O'Brien. I have been your facilitator for this game of Fight with Spirit. I am a poet, writer, and game designer from Trinidad and Tobago, and one of the co-hosts of Speculate alongside Mike and Greg. As previously mentioned, I am presently GMing another Speculate miniseries, The Pitman Sculpture, our Apocalypse Keys miniseries, featuring special guests from Queen's Court Games. It's been, as Mike has said, it's been rad. Our first session was wild as hell, ended on a wild as hell cliffhanger, and I can't wait to see how we respond to that from that moment onward. I'm very excited for more of that. I am doing a lot of things. Of note, I will mention idly that I'm also GMing another game over for another crew of people over on Open Circuit Studios, which is a bunch of very cool people who have been recently doing their own 2 seasons of a series of the Leverage RPG called Leverage Los Angeles. And I will be running a spin-off series to that series called Leverage Port of Spain very, very soon. And I say this to let all of you lovely people know that if you are a person of color who would like to join that crew, definitely reach out to Open Circuit and apply to be a member of that casting call so we can do some cool things over there. But as for Speculate, a reminder that we all of the cool stuff that we do at Speculate can be supported by you via joining our Patreon at patreon.com/speculate, or going to our website, speculateSF.com. Definitely one of the things that I want to encourage more people to do is share more of our stuff with other cool people. We are one of our series, Valwood, being GM'd by our wonderful dancing master Michael R. Underwood, is now a New Jersey Webfest and Minnesota Webfest special selection. That is very rad. I want other people to see all the cool stuff that we do and all the cool people that we do those stuff with. So feel free every once in a while, just let people know, hey, have you seen this thing? These cool people play this cool game. I think that would be really cool to have more people aware of the wonderful games and wonderful players that we have on the Speculate podcast. So if you can share the word, if you can spread the word by any means, please definitely do so. But as for the rest of us, we have had a very intense quarterfinal match, and I'm pretty sure most of us would like to rest our weary bodies now. So thank you so very much for joining us this evening. I hope that you have a wonderful night. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and we will see you all very, very soon with more Speculate shenanigans in the near future. Until then, good night, everyone.
Bye.